Hey, everybody. What's happening? Good morning. Happy Monday. You're here with BF and Stormee. This is episode 7, I believe, of Coffee With. Wow, up to 7 already. Stormee, how you doing?
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good. How are you? Good morning.
All right, good morning. Yeah, we're just catching up. Been a busy weekend. We see we got some people commenting in already. Happy Monday. This is Super Bowl Monday, Super Bowl Hangover Monday, depending on how hard everybody went at it. Personally, I didn't go that hard. I just kind of stayed around and just did keep it simple at home. Let's see. Let's check out our first couple comments. We got congrats to Andrew on the Super Bowl show. Chiefs, he predicted a win. That's right. Good morning, Jerry. Yes, let's see. We got Jerry. The field was slippery. Yep, with injuries. Yeah. Slippery, twisting ankles, knees, painted areas seem worse. Yeah, I agree, Jerry. It seems kind of odd because that was a natural turf field, and it was kind of behaving or performing like it was like a slippery, like kind of wet plastic turf. It was really weird. We were noticing that too, that a lot of people were slipping around. But that was kind of funny. Let's see. Our boy, My Lost Interest checking in. Good morning, Lost. Hi, buddy. How you doing? Yeah, the field was a shit show. Let's see, Jerry. These guys are up been chatting at it. The field was like a giant wedding cake. Yeah, it's all decorated. And let's check out our boy checking in this morning to say, Tay Boogie. Ooh, what's up, boy? What's up, brother? How you doing, man? Yeah, we I shared your little thing in our Armchair Comic Facebook group yesterday. We like helping our fellow comedians and friends out, spread the love and spread their word. Time clock reset. I wonder. I don't know. Let's see. Hey, Tay, we're going no homo. We love you guys too. Look at you. Tay says, love you guys. Love you too, brother.
Yeah.
And don't think I haven't forgotten about possibly having you on here one day, bro. For real. We're trying to work out the flow of this show. We're up to episode 7, and Stormee has a great highlight package, a way to present the show. So we enjoy hanging out with you, talking on Mondays and getting the podcast week started. And we always use it as our reset point to get things going. Now, Stormee, you had a little family. I don't know what you want to share, but your daughter had a little mishap over the weekend or something. Friday.
Yeah. She she was at school, and then she come home, said her ear was hurting, and I took her to the doctor thinking it was an ear infection. But when we got there, ended up like these little beads. She had one inside each one of her ears.
Wow.
And they said that if we hadn't gone in soon enough, that we got there just in time because then she would have had to have surgery to get them removed.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you when you were telling us about it, this kind of happened like right rolling up to showtime on Friday for Sports Ed. So
Yeah.
you didn't even have time to communicate it. You were dealing with that all day. And then later in the show or after the show, I looked at the picture you sent me, and Stormee sends me this little like pill bottle thing, and it has these tiny little like those beads that they make the bracelets with or something. Is that
Yeah,
what it is?
it was like beads they put in, like, sensory bins for, like, pre-K age, like, they just play in, like, sand or whatever, and
Wow.
she said that, and mind you, she's in pre-K, so my daughter's not perfect, I know she can lie, but, she said that a little boy helped her put them in there. So,
I'm sure it could have been a group idea where
yeah.
they're kind of like doing this and they're thinking about holes to put them in, and you get a little extra encouragement. You're like, yeah, I'll do that peer pressure thing. I'll stuff them in. I ain't scared. Yeah, because
Yeah,
at that age, they don't know what can hurt them or not yet. So, but
no,
I'm
but I
glad
was
to
freaked
hear.
out.
Yeah, I bet you were when they called you from school, right, and told you had to go get her.
Well, it was right after school, they
Oh,
called
okay.
me and told me that she was complaining of ear trouble, and so I went
Okay.
ahead and made her the appointment and took her afterwards, just thinking it was a, common ear infection or something, germs, but no, it
hmm
was not the case.
Now,
And
was
so
that an emergency room situation, or did you
yeah, it
have to
was
do
like an
urgent care?
emergency appointment at like a specialist. Like I called them and they
Oh
they put
wow.
her in for like an emergency because they actually had to she's 4 years old, lay her down and put these tools inside her ear without numbing or anything. And
And try to keep her still. Oh my
yes,
God, that's a feat in itself.
yes, she did so good though, so good.
Really.
Yeah. Yeah,
So she
but
must have really been scared and wanted them out, huh?
she was scared and as soon as they come out of her ear, I showed her one of them and she goes, "Those are my teachers."
So yes, and you put them in your ear, and that's not
Yeah.
where they belong.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear she's doing okay. Otherwise, now, did you happen to catch any of the Super Bowl festivities yesterday? have it on while you were around the house, or?
Yeah, I watched some of it, like, I was around the house dealing with the kids and stuff, so I don't see everything, but yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, same with me. I had it on playing, and I guess I'm kind of, I just have it on in the air because that's the national event. That's the big international event, actually. So, as I was telling you before the show, I'm kind of setting up a new area to do podcasting from, wider area. So I was busy like running hundreds of wires and moving things around as I had it on. But it was an interesting Super Bowl. At least it was competitive. I mean, the Eagles really seem to have it under control early on, but then Kansas City, boy, you just can't hold Patrick Mahomes down. Let's see what Jerry has to say. Jerry says, I'm back. What's that? All right, there you go. And our boys checking in. Hey, Brandon. What's up, Brandon? How you doing? Brandon can't lose. This guy gets it from the BYB podcast. So our buddy Bobby Nick does with him. Shout out, Brandon. Good morning, brother. Nice to see you, man. So you guys been doing it lately on there, having some different guests, Corn Diff and this one, that one, the other one. We got some podcasts and some good stuff to talk about. They were just doing the Blunder Years version of Uncle Rico this morning at 9:00. It was a Patreon only. So they were kind of late on sharing the information on that. I didn't see that post come out till late. Did you, Stormy?
No, I didn't either. It was after I dropped the kids off at school and everything before I got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even with their busy lives, I think they kind of comes down to the last minute sometimes where they can't get all their notices out there too. Hey, shout out to the 5 people that joined us. Good morning. I haven't seen him in the chat yet, but I know sometimes JT joins us in the morning. Chris Abels, homie, don't play that. So if you're out there and you haven't said hello yet, we'll say hello to you first. All right. So we have, like I said, Stormy has prepared a killer highlights package for you. I haven't watched all of it, but I watched enough to know that it's good. So I'm excited to see some of the things that you put in it too. Right now, let's talk about some of our national day calendar. Let's see what national days it is today. All right, on our national day calendar. Always goofy made up holiday day. Let's see what we got today. All right, there's a lot of them. We got a lot of them for you. Today is National Clean Out Your Computer Day. That's probably something I should do every day.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm terrible. Especially with my phone. Like my phone is my life now. To call it a computer isn't even a thing anymore.
I
And
know.
like, I mean, I control the lights around the house. I can control the temperature.
Oh,
You just
wow.
rely on your phone so much, and that is my computer. And if you lose that thing, boy, I lose a lot of control of my life. So whether it be your phone or your computer, you got to clean a key light. National Cheddar Day,
Hmm.
February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day. National Cheddar Day. Let's see. Let me put up the I got for you here. Here we go. Oop, I lost it. I'll find that in a minute. Okay, yes, it was National Cheddar Day. Oh, and here's the big one now. National Football Hangover Day. This is what everybody's probably feeling today. I heard many years ago that people have been advocating that the Monday after Super Bowl should be a national holiday. Have you ever had any experience with your family members or anybody having a hard time going to work the day after the Super Bowl, Stormy?
Yeah, I mean, and then I've also worked in an office setting where there's, primarily men in there who love sports, and so they definitely wish they would have that time to kind of recover. But
Yeah,
I'm not really like that though.
Yeah, if you work with enough people, like if you work in an office setting like that, you're gonna have enough people that were probably interested to it, and they come in dragging ass on Monday
Yeah.
morning, they're complaining about if they won or lost, if they lost their bets
Mhm.
or how the game went, and dragging ass basically, and then some people just overdo it altogether. I
Yeah.
understand. My daughter told me that Philadelphia was going to allow schools to go in 2 hours late because they knew they would be staying up late watching the Super Bowl.
Really?
Yeah, I'd never heard anything like that. So if you're having a football hangover today
Huh.
might be because your team didn't win. So it ended up being Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes doing his thing. Ended up winning the whole darn thing. So that's two Super Bowl championships for him in like in a 4-year period.
I
So that's
believe he's
pretty.
not gonna be, happy about that.
Yeah, he was kind of quiet this morning, but he normally is quiet on those morning shows anyway, because it's the first show of the day. He's getting the engine cranked up. So we got some comments here I see showing up. So let's share them with you.
Mm.
National Side Chick Day. That's every day, Ted. Come on, man. With your side chick. It's your National Side Chick Day.
A holiday for everybody? Or
I guess only if you got that side chick, it's your day. Let's see. Some Philly schools went in 2 hours late. That's right. There you go, Jerry. I don't know if I said that first or you put that comment on first. Yeah, but my daughter told me much the same thing. But let's see, Facebook user, we have somebody that hasn't, and it says, "Hi, I'm at work and happy for the Chiefs." I'm guessing that's Tina, maybe my niece Tina, because she's always at work this time of the day. She's happy for the Chiefs, huh? No, okay, very good. Well, we're happy you all joined us this morning. We see 5 or 6 of you here. It's a Monday morning coffee pod with BF and Stormee. Yep, it's her. She says yes right away. I
Yep.
know it's Tina. There you go. Good morning, Tina. She's out there doing her thing. Glad you joined us during your break. Okay, let's see. It's also somebody, I won't go over everyone, but it's also National Tortellini Day. I'm not sure how you would sell it. You guys, you eat some tortellini. Now, this one caught my eye, and I'll share this one with you because I thought this was particularly interesting, considering where we're at today is February 13th, and today for some people is National Galentine's. This didn't keep. I changed the date, but it didn't keep. It's National Galentine's Day. Is that a
Never heard
thing?
of it. Never heard of it.
Okay, well, you're a woman, you're a female, so I thought maybe it was a guy thing. I didn't know because I was a guy, but yeah, Galentine's Day. So yeah, this is essentially you're supposed to celebrate that your best friend, that one that it always encourages you and pushes you through life, and you're supposed to do nice things for them. So I get what this says: how to observe, host a Galentine's Day party, create special Galentine's Day recipe and cocktails, have a Galentine's dance party. So we're gonna have to get on all that and do all that stuff. So
Yeah.
if you have a special gal friend, I think you're supposed to be doing that kind of stuff today.
Maybe
So
that's why I haven't heard of it. I don't really have many girlfriends.
yeah, I'm not never been the overly kind of clingy, feel like I have to have that one person. When I was younger, I had some people that you click with, but as you get older, let's see. Tay says side chick day. Oh, okay, understood. I understood. You got to get it in. Now I'll follow your flow, bro. It's a little early yet. So today's side chicks day, right? Got to get it out on the download, give it a little present, and then don't say nothing. And then tomorrow is the real day, huh? Well, I ain't gonna tell nobody nobody's business, man. I ain't gonna tell nobody's business up in here. Okay. All right. Let's why is it no matter how much I prepare? Let me put this up here. My screens disappear right when I go live. Let's see. So we were talking about last night was Super Bowl Sunday, and I seen some of the guys already chatting in it right away before we started the show. So let's share that. And I like what Google did. I'll watch when I refresh the screen. Look, they got the
Oh, yeah.
look at that. They got the celebration fireworks right there. So the Kansas City
Cool.
Chiefs, 135-38. Like I said, it started out the first half. It seemed like the Eagles had the game, had it kind of under control. They went into the halftime in a lead, but then Kansas City made those halftime adjustments, and they come out being Kansas City. And even without Tyreek Hill, I mean, Patrick Mahomes is just that difference maker. And they just scored and ended up being turned into a really decent game. It turned into a back and forth battle, and it got tied, and you didn't know who was going to win. Then it comes down to it's tied 35-35. Kansas City gets the ball, and on first down they had like a minute. They had well over like a minute and a half left, and I was really surprised that they could have scored the touchdown, but the running back was smart enough to down the ball before he scored, and then they had this whole strategy of just running out. They were going to run out the clock and hope they could kick the field goal and win in the way they did. But I thought it was kind of highly risky to not run in and score the touchdown right away. They could have scored 7 points. They would have left more time on the clock, but then the Eagles would have had more of a chance. But I thought it was very clever of Andy Reid and the running back to take the knee, run out the time, the time with all the timeouts, and kick the field goal. It was kind of bold, but it ended up being good. For me, he says F football. F football. Yeah, and I'm not exactly with F football yet, Tay. My cat making noise. I'm not exactly with F football yet, but I am over the last few years. It's not as appealing as it used to be. It's something, that I'm kind of turned off about football. I'm not as into it as I used to be, and I really don't know why. I thought it was just maybe just years and years after watching the Super Bowl year after year. I'm not sure. Let's see. I had the weather up here for you. I can pull that up for you real quick, and we'll do a little weather report like we like to do and let you know what kind of day you're heading for. I saw it up there. It is. I had this window open before we started. Let's see. All right. And now it's time for the weather. Good morning, coffee pot weather. Here we go. All right. So here's your Doppler radar, and your Doppler radar sees most of the country kind of clear. Go down here to your infrared where you can see it. It's kind of like a haziness. You can see the big stuff out here over the ocean. So depending on what area you're in, you can see if there's something heading your way or not. We'll go over here. These are the current temperatures. It's kind of chilly in the 30s and 40s, but I like this next map here is that for February, for Galentine's Day or Side Chick Day, as Tay says, it doesn't look too bad. You can see the yellow represents a lot of warm in the country, and looks like they're projecting it to be in the mid 50s around my area. How's it feel around your way today, Stormy?
Yeah, it's about 50 right now where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
It feels pretty good. It's not I mean, I still wear a jacket, but it's not too awful. I'm not complaining.
Now, did you get any coffee today? You got a beverage today? I got my hot
Oh
coffee.
gosh, I left it over there on the other table. I'm gonna have to grab it. Hang on one second.
Uh-oh. It's live. Got to be real about this. Got to grab that coffee. We're happy you're with us while Stormy grabs her coffee. So yeah, let's see. So it's going to be warm most places. I see Tay put up a comment. Oh, our boy Scott. Scott, I meant to send you the link, dude. Sorry, bro. It kept going in and out of my mind. I kept meaning to send it to you this morning, and I was doing too much other prep, man. Good morning, bro. I hope you're feeling better from that cold that you were getting over. Let's see. Tay says, I'm going to tag you and Stormy in a post. All right, we'll do that. Uh-oh. If it's a post, and based on that, this must be one of them side chick things, I'm guessing, maybe. Hey, shout out to the 6 people who are watching us. Happy Monday. You're watching Morning Coffee Pod with BF and Stormy. We like to just get up and rap and kind of get the podcast motor going for Monday and get the week started. And we're going to have some podcast news for you. I'm going to have some news about the Rob Saul show for you, possible day changes coming up. I normally do that on Tuesdays, but when we start talking about the pods more in depth, we'll talk about what the Tay says. Scott, shouting out Scott. Did you happen to see any decent commercials that caught your eye during the Super Bowl while you were watching, Stormy?
Usually, I take advantage of commercial time and get up and go change the laundry or something, so I didn't really watch all of them.
Yeah.
So not really that I used to watch the Super Bowl and anticipate and be excited for the commercials, but
A lot of people did. Yeah, I mean, they made such a big thing about that for a while where, everybody was just up in their production game and basically like making like short movies and stuff for these
yeah.
Super Bowl commercials. Let's see. Scott says, hey, Tay Boogie. Shout out. Love the love. I'm glad the fan has enjoyed us this morning. Has joined us this morning, I should say that. Yeah, so I didn't really see too many. I saw that E-Trade had the babies talking. Back in the day,
Yeah.
they used to have the old the baby talking when that technology first came popular about moving people's voices, and it looked really seamless. And they had the babies that were the E-Trade financial advisor. So that one kind of caught my eye a little bit. But other than that, not too many stick out to me.
Something's changed about all of it. It just feels different. I don't know. Maybe it's the content they're putting out. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, was it? I think we were talking about it on the Soul Show the other. I think Zen, shout out Anthony Zenhauser, one of my co-hosts. He said that they're not as edgy because the world is just kind of different now. I think compared to when people were trying to be edgy. Now I think people are more
Playing
hesitant
it
or
safe.
afraid to be edgy because they're afraid of they might catch some guff about it. So it seems like they're making these safe commercials. But I remember back in the day, they used to have the Doritos ad campaign where they invited the people to make their own ad. I used to like the one with the kid in the box. He had the time machine in the box, and then the old man chases him off the lawn, and he
Yeah.
goes, Billy, what happened to you? What? Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was one of my favorites. That's one that always sticks out to me. So I like that one. But nothing of interest I can remember. All right. So like I said, so we have the podcast day already started on the Shuli network. They started the Uncle Rico, the Blunder Years version when they went back and they're doing the old Howard Stern days. Now, I personally love those because I was definitely a regular listener and watcher in those days. And yes, that was the environment back in those days. That was almost a daily occurrence that Howard would drag John in and have to tell him of something that he either wasn't keeping up with or something he did wrong or some misjudgment. How do you like seeing some of those old videos, Stormy?
I like it, and what year didn't they say what year those recent ones they've been playing were in? Like,
Yeah,
1990.
Yeah, they were saying like 94 or 96. It definitely was like kind of the mid 90s. Yeah, and you have to look
So,
for some.
I was born in '93.
Well, there you go. So that gives you some context. So that's why I was interested in your point of view,
Yeah,
being that you kind of got to know these people, in later years, and you weren't
yeah,
familiar with all their early stuff. How is it like seeing John? Like he had that long rock and roll hair, and then
yeah.
some of these clips he's got it cut off, and then you see Howard at these different stages. So, what are your impressions of Stuttering John and some of this stuff?
He just seems like a moron sometimes. I feel sorry for him, but then you something gets played and then it's like, "Never mind, I don't feel sorry."
Right. You feel sorry for him, but then he opens his mouth or he
Yeah,
tries to defend himself, and then you
yeah,
no longer feel sorry for him. And that was always the MO with John. And so that's why it was more bothersome to Howard. Because back in those days, Stuttering John was like the guy on the street. They would give him the wackiest questions, and he would go out to these celebrity events. He would go to the Met Gala, all these different high-end events in New York, and they would have him ask some of the most outlandish, horrendous questions. And so Jay Leno was becoming the new host of the Tonight Show, and he was looking for kind of an edge or something new. And so he ended up hiring John away from the Howard Stern show, thinking that this was going to be my man on the street
mm,
kind of edge thing, but not realizing he was only as good as the questions that were written for him by the writers. And so that's the whole thing, was he is really that good, or was he was only as good as the people that wrote for him? Jerry says, what's he said? I started ghostwriting for Stern, and I see you say that often, Jerry. You seem to be a big, busy, interesting dude. I've seen your Mars stuff, and you talk about Stern stuff a lot. And
yeah,
let's
pretty
see,
cool.
cringe humor is John. Yeah, the Stuttering John. Yeah. Now, do you mean them trying to make humor out of Stuttering John, or John himself? Because either might be the case.
Mhm.
Yeah, because you might watch nowadays and think, wow, these guys are being awfully cruel to John, and why do they act like this? But I think showing these old videos really helps for people like you that might like, well, why do they talk like him, and why do people have these impressions of John? Well,
Yeah,
that's why, because this is how he would behave during the show. You can see, I mean, he claps back at Howard, he yells back at Howard. He has no sense of like personal responsibility or awareness. I like last week they did the episode where they went out to LA for the week in LA for the Grammys
yeah.
and all the room charges, and his was like $1,000 plus more than the person that was running the show, than the office director who was doing faxes at the time because that was the technology, and she was paying for the calls out for any collect calls or anything like that, and he was still $1,000 more. And do you remember hearing the stories that apparently he brought like family and friends along?
Yeah, what in the world? What would make him think that he could do all that?
Right. So here are these guys some of these writers like Jackie and them and Gary, they've been with the show for years, and they wouldn't have the audacity to just assume that I'm going to go out in LA and I'm going to have my wife, my child, and friends. I mean, talk about a schnurr and somebody just taking advantage of a
Taking
situation.
advantage again, yep.
Yeah,
Seems
just
to be
take
a common pattern, taking advantage of every situation with him.
right. And so that's why it's even more helpful to go back and see these episodes and see this. Whatever they're cracking on him about now is nothing new, and it isn't like they turn to this cruelness about him. He's always lacked this judgment. But
Yeah,
just to go out there and think that it's okay to bring your wife and your children, I mean, that's just great. And then they're explaining it to him, and he you could tell he's just not getting it. And I like Howard at one point, he says to him, "Hey John, what's your wife doing right now?" And he goes, he's like, "Home." He's like, "Well, why couldn't she stay home when I was in LA?" Like basically the same thing. Like, why did he feel the necessity to bring her to LA? Let's see, Jerry's commenting.
scared maybe of what she'll be doing if she gets too far away or something.
The writers, Jackie, Fred, yeah, Jerry, like none of them would take. Let's see. Yeah,
Both.
they would write some hellacious things for him to say. And then they show the videos where he would get, you'd always watch to see if John was going to get slapped or thrown out. He did get pushed around and beat up and thrown out of a couple of press conferences more than a few times back in those days. Let's see. All right. So I know you got this great video package for you. So what do you say we get rolling with that? All right. We're going to do our official podcast review. I love and appreciate that Stormy has taken to this video editing, and we have some great clips to share for you. Now, I think I saw some of these things that you did get. Now, I
Mhm.
thought my clip game was getting better because I was doing live clipping during the shows. But you will know, and I know you know this because you got the clips, is that once they go private, even your clip that you have borrowed from
Yep,
disappears, right? So that
yep,
happened to me tonight. I sent the same sports head clip to you that you sent to me. We had a notion to create the same clip of a mention on the Kevin
yep,
Brennan MLC show. And when I went to hit that link last night, that clip is gone. But I
ye
think that our girl Stormy here might have it in here for us, don't you?
it should be in there. If it's not, I must have
Yeah.
overlooked it.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully it
I
is.
I at least saw I at least saw one clip of mine that I had a hyperlink that I had a
Yes.
link for that was gone. So I know that you're on top of the game, and that's why I appreciate you. And I know that we're really going to enjoy this video clip package I'm about to roll for you right now. So
Yeah.
let's talk. I'll roll the title, and then you want to talk about the first clip.
So let me think for a second because I've gotta look at my notes here, what I got going first.
Okay, I'll get it rolling a while. Let's get it rolling, and maybe this will help. Here we go. This is the Stormy highlights package of our favorite podcast moments from the past week, from the 6th through the 13th. Know that the live Uncle Rico was up on the Shuli network. I watched that over
Yeah.
the weekend. Did you see that?
Yes, I watched it. Well, I more so listened. I didn't really watch because I was driving, so I was
Hmm.
listening to it on the radio through the car, and, it was very interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting. And if you did watch it, there was a guy, I called him like a doppelganger guy. There was this guy sitting in front with like orange on the right. I don't know if we'll have any
Mhm.
video of it at some point maybe, but
Yeah.
he was like one of these like disturb. He just kind of was one of them guys who was just like doing this, like just staring at the guys like the whole time,
Yeah.
like right in the front row. You
So
noticed that
strange.
guy too?
Yeah, so strange. They mentioned him a few times throughout the week too, when they were doing shows, when they would pull up clips or something, and they're like, "There's that guy again. He's in the back. He's in the background."
I know, and I was glad that they mentioned him too because I thought that maybe I was like being like overly sensitive. I'm like,
Me too.
why every other shot I see in this guy, he's like just staring, or he looked real awkward. And yeah, and they were making jokes about it, like wondering if he had a knife or a gun. Like
Yeah,
he had that look, just sitting up front. And with Stutter and John having these kind of like these fans, these overzealous fans, I would be half concerned too that I hit my keyboard by accident. I would be I'd be concerned too that there might be somebody with some
yeah,
maybe not some great thoughts in their head sitting in front row. Let's see. Attention grabbing clips. Let's
yeah,
see. All right. And the intro. Here we go. All right. So
so
yeah, so that's to let you know that if you haven't seen that yet, that's pretty good because you get the video element. You get to
yeah.
see it all happen. And I also watched the WATP that they did too from them. So that was that. Only losers and dorks. Now I know what this is about. Do you have any setup for this or should I roll it?
Let's just say Chad Zumock.
Yeah, you see the quotes, and if you're a fan of these podcasts, yeah. Well, as soon as I saw that, only losers and dorks, only losers and dorks. So this person's probably a little bit bitter that maybe DabbleCon didn't go as bad as he predicted.
Mhm.
It's so much fun doing this podcast in front of a live audience that we will be doing a lot more of them. And we had a blast. Kumia had a blast. I think the four of us are going to start putting some shows together, and we're going to throw in some people here and there. If you want to be a part of the comedy show portion, it's very simple. All you have to do is just make a public statement that you were wrong and that you're sorry. and then we will welcome Chad Zumach with open arms. But until then, you fucking dork.
That's the word
loser.
he always says.
Right.
Dog. Yeah.
Dork. Yeah. Well, he guaranteed that this would be a failure. Who the fuck goes to Rochester in February? I believe was a quote. Only losers and dorks. Well, 200 plus losers and dorks showed up in Rochester, and I know, I'm with you. We're moving on. All I can tell you is that you were wrong, and anytime you want to apologize would be great. Other than that, I would strongly suggest, Chad, that you apologize to Bob before he apologized to us, because
Well, he's mad at me because he posted something to me, and when I looked at it, it
He
said
got
it was
caught.
deleted. It was
He got
deleted.
caught.
It was
He
in
got
my
caught.
thing. So I
Yep.
just copied it right there and just posted him. I made more than you in 2 months.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
he shit on you on Twitter and then immediately deleted it. But somebody caught it, and
I caught it. It was in my thing when I opened it up. So I seen it. So I just grabbed it.
So even worse, Chad. Bob is his detective internet prowess is the one that got you caught.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah. So Bob, basically called him out on it, and then the rest is history. Chad did not react well. Shocking. So now I guess last I saw, somebody sent me a screenshot where somebody asked him if he was going to be or he's not allowed, or he's not going to be on the show anymore with you guys. Do you know anything about that?
No, that's not true. I mean, Kevin's going to do an early show with him.
Oh, okay.
I'm finding the tweet now, but he said something along the line. Someone asked him if he was going to be on the MLC, and it was something like if Bob lets me, or Bob told Kevin to not have me on anymore. But I'm pulling it up.
I'm the one that got you on that fucking show again. Okay.
That's what I was thinking.
Kevin doesn't even, you know what I mean? Kevin was basically like, I don't know. And I was like,
Kevin
hey, he's got a good story.
Kevin still has him blocked on his phone. He
Exactly.
has to, if he has a message to give to Kevin, he has to go through you. So now that's gone too.
Well, good for him. Do you think Chad's? Of course, I think Chad's drinking again. I can tell when he fucking, he wishes death on you in text messages. He's like a big tough guy from far away.
Here we go. I'm pretty sure Levy had me removed from the show because I won't cuck it up to Kumia. Sorry, man.
Mean?
Sorry, man. We had a good thing going.
Yeah, you did, and you fucked it up, you dumbass.
You know something serious when ESO pipes in, because ESO very rarely kind of pipes in.
That's why there was so much detail in that one that kind of you had to play all of it.
And so you see how nice Shuli is being, because he, Chad has just taken every opportunity he can, like he said, to like shit on it and say it's not going to be successful. It's cold. It's this and that. And, he's being kind of very forgiving about him, but I like how he put it down to where he says, yeah, you need to like apologize, not to him, but to apologize to Bob. And that's really where it's at, because Shuli doesn't like that disrespect neither, right? I guess Shuli could probably care less.
Right.
But he wants, because everybody sees what he's doing to Bob. He really goes hard at Bob, and he really, really shouldn't be. Let's see. Check out a couple of these comments here. Scott says, was cool. Was it? This was yesterday. Was Kevin a cool surprise for me. I heard Bob Levy and Kevin mention Stormee. Blows my mind sometimes. That's right. I heard that too. I heard Stormee's got them posters ready, and I heard Kevin shout you out and say thanks, Stormee. So
yeah, that was awesome.
Pretty cool. So you want to tell people about that? Tell people what that little reference referred to when yesterday on the MLC during this halftime, I heard Bob mention that you had did something, and Kevin thanked you. You want to tell the people what that's about?
Yeah, I just got a request from Bob for him and Kevin for MLC, and I guess Chad, but I don't know that Chad had much to do with it. But they wanted me to make some graphics for, their backgrounds and stuff on their social media and whatever, and then, I decided to throw in the halftime show graphic that was posted on Twitter too, and that's pretty much what they were talking about, all the posters and graphics that I do, and then I do the ones for the Comedy Loft too.
Yeah, that's cool. For those of you who don't know, Stormy has it's getting more and more involved in these graphics, and she's made this great video package. But the start was making graphics for shows, and then making posters for Bob Levy's comedy
Yep.
club, for Brennan and Levy's comedy club, and it's like it just keeps flourishing and keeps turning into like the next thing and the next thing. So I'm happy to see that you're getting recognition and that you're getting your work out there. So
Me
that's really cool. And I agree with Scott. I wasn't expecting that. I
I
might not
didn't
be as
either.
I'm not father proud, but I am proud that that you're getting mentioned, that you're getting
Yeah,
shouted
that's
out, that
awesome.
people appreciate what you do and what we try to do. Let's see. Others in chat claim Shuli has thin skin. I'm agreeing with that. So beware. So I beware.
Hmm.
Thin skin. In regards to what about the just the topic or the Shuli show? Let's see. And then Jerry also goes on to say, Bob just the opposite, but don't get him really mad.
Really
Yeah.
mad, yeah.
That's true, yeah. And see, and that's the thing about Chad, because I think everybody takes shots at Bob because he's so open about that. Like in the chat, they crack on him being like a vampire, being
Mhm.
old, being this and that. And there still seems you can see the humor, and there's still like a edge of humor or respect with it. But it's
Yeah.
something about when Chad does it. It's just I don't know if it's the screaming or he has no credibility. But I think I saw you comment about that at some point yesterday about how I
Yeah.
have no hearing left or something.
Yeah, he permanently damaged my hearing yesterday screaming.
And that's the whole thing. When you have somebody who's already obnoxious and then he doubles down and he's screaming, it's like, dude, I'm already don't really like you that much. And then you're just going to double down and scream and just
Yeah,
make
so
me not
be
like you that.
aware to the audience right now because this next clip is Chad screaming, so you might wanna adjust your volume a tad.
But that's a great note for it. Thank you. I'll be adjusting mine too. Congrats, Stormy. More mentions. Yep, for sure.
Thank you.
That's right, Jerry. Yep. All right. So let's see. Okay. So now, since you brought up, we're talking about Chad. And look, it's funny because it's like with guys like Chad and Gino, it's like I really don't want to hate them. I have no
I know.
desire to hate them. But it's like the more that I see them or I expose to them, it's kind of like they bring it on themselves, if you
I
will.
know.
It's like I want to like Gino. There you like you Scott has said, Chad, your dad said he thinks he's funny, that Chad
Yeah,
is funny. And he has been funny
he
in the
can
past,
be.
but
Mhm.
yes. But ever since he's went down this whole I'm gonna be as angry as Kevin and Bob are, or I'm gonna try to be toe to toe with them,
Yeah.
it just doesn't work, and he's not. Hey, before I roll it's Chad Zummick thing, let's say hello to our good friend, Mr. My Los Inches. Check him in. Thanks,
Yeah.
Loss. I've seen you say in past weeks that you wish it wasn't a Monday, but I'm glad you made it this Monday. Thank you, bro. Let's see. Scott says, I like when Chad. Oh,
Oh,
do you like that? But he does. I'm Chad. I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm cool.
well, you're gonna get to see, that
Boy.
in just a
All
second.
right, so volume beware. If you have issues with loud noises or shrieking, you've been warned. Let's see. It's shtick. What's this?
Mm.
Loud Chad and Gino.
Mhm.
I know it is, Jerry, but how much? Even if you do acknowledge that it's a shtick, bro, how much of it can you really like sit through when it's pumping in your ears?
Yeah,
It's funny if the loud shtick is funny and if it leads to a humorous thing, I'll sit
yeah,
through some volume. But when it's just him yelling because he has no like other defense for his
yeah.
actions, it's not funny. Hey, let's see.
And Steel Toe, Aaron, he's kinda loud too. I mean, he gets pretty loud sometimes, and it's funny to me that Gino, Chad, and Steel Toe, all 3 are really loud and constantly bickering.
Well, they usually see right. I've noticed that in life too. That people that have something calm, they don't like. They don't like them. Like he's too much like me. They don't say
Mhm.
that, but that's kind of what it is. It's like that's the reason they don't like each other is because they're too much of the same personality. And I do agree, especially with Chad and Gino. They both want to do like the loud, angry kind of humor.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think when they do the loud, angry stuff, it's just another minute they don't have to come up with something funny to say. What's up, Lost? Scott says, hey, Lost. Scott Fitzpatrick. Let's see. He says, finally made alive. Cut my money. Oh, look at that. We're flattered. We are flattered, bro. You don't need that money more than me anyway. You know what's up. Hey, Scott, what's up? The love. We appreciate you. It's like the grouchy Muppet. It is. It is. But I guess I want some credibility behind it. I'll accept any yelling or grouchiness as long as it goes along with what's being said and it's not just a desperate attempt to like one up Bob or Kevin or try to act like them. So let's roll this more, Chad Zumick.
Because that's where it gets a little dirty.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is because, like I've said, we all like get good cuts in on Bob when we're in the chat, and we'll say, "Oh, your hair," like they tell him his hair looks green or this, that, and the other, and there seems to be some kind of humor or love about it, but it's just something about the way Chad comes off that doesn't, maybe just because I have a lot of respect for Bob, maybe that's it. But all right, so you've been warned by Stormee. We have all been warned. Get your volume control ready because we're going to roll this Chad Zumock clip of him doing Carl impressions, among other things. So let me set this up and we're going to roll that for you right now. Here we go.
He's like, Anthony Cumia! Everybody, it's Anthony Cumia! Oh my God, Anthony Cumia's here! I keep my mouth open because I can suck his dick. Hi, I'm Carl. I'm in a really shitty band. I stole Jack.
You think he was drinking?
I
we'll get into that a little
bit. I do inside jokes on stage that nobody knows. Anthony Cumia, Compound Media, Eric Nagel, Chrissy Mayer, Rochester. I never left Rochester. I love Weezer. I was in marketing. I owe Anthony Cumia everything. I want to fuck Anthony Cumia in the ass.
Wow. And there you go. He's not a bitter drunk at all, is he there?
No, I don't know.
All right, so you talked about him. Do you think he's drunk? And the boys were hitting him on that over the weekend, and he admitted to it. Like Friday, like Bob was like, "Yeah, he's drunk. I know when somebody's drunk." Damn it, like they weren't even accepting his answers anymore. But
he had a burst of energy with that impression, and I've never heard Carl a whole lot, just here and there, because I've never watched a full show. To hear him really sound like that, to sound like.
Yeah, Carl. I mean, Carl's excitable, and he has like an excitement. He has an enthusiasm to his voice, and somebody like Chad, who is not part of the success, and he views Carl as a nerd, and he has this enthusiasm. I guess it was just a ripe target, for him to go after, like an easy target. Let's see. Bring some of this up. Yes, you'd like to scratch him up. We put that one up. Cocaine with a whiskey chaser. Maybe lost. Maybe, brother. They haven't even gotten into that. I was so hoping that they would send him a breathalyzer gun or something to test his breathalyzer, because he the first like couple weeks he was so like, "Oh, I got this and this is good," and I'm like, send him a breathalyzer. Just have it. It would have been a cool thing. Just blow on the air and put the thing up on the screen, and that way he couldn't have made up any stories. We would have had proof. Because even Shuley said, like, how are we verifying this? We're just going on the trust, the trust system, basically.
Yeah.
So
I think
that's your Carl.
Did a lie detector test. Was that for him?
They were talking about all that kind of stuff, right? I think they did say lie detector, but like that's a little harder to do in a remote thing. But I thought a breathalyzer where you could just get him to blow and show. I thought that would have been something good for the show, but I think they know that bit would have been over a lot sooner if they would have sent him a breathalyzer like right away. That shit would have been that would have been exposed like right off the bat. All right, now continuing on with the Chad love of the podcast and everything, set up this next clip. You have some tweets here that we were going to share.
Yeah, well, Chad's, I guess, created his own show now. He'll be popping up live on YouTube, but also he has his Patreon. But Kumia's Cucks is what it's called.
Is that the name of the show? Because I know he does something. Isn't his web YouTube called Sit Down Zumock or something like that?
Yeah,
is that his webpage?
Yes, that's what it is. Sit Down Zumock. But he's putting a show on there called Kumia's Cucks, where he has Steel Toe and Chrissy and Anthony and all kinds of stuff, and different people, and he's just pretty much just going at them.
Yeah, and that's what kind of bothers me about some of this stuff going on. And that here you have people that are supposed to be comedians, and now he's doing an entire show that he is devoting to just his dislike of other comedians, his hate of other comedians. And to me, that's going to have a limited shelf life. That really doesn't turn me on. Like, Chrissy is going hard with all this Eliza Blue stuff. This whole
I'm tired of
child.
hearing about her.
Thank you very much. I concur. And so this whole every tweet and every like post you see is this Eliza Blue and you're lying and you traffic this, and it's like at this point I don't care. I
It's
really don't
clickbait.
give a shit.
Clickbait
They
for
act
all
like
this.
what is with the 2020 comedians? Like they're acting like they're like investigative reporters, and they have to. It's like they just want the heat off of that Eliza Blue and off her story. And I understand how heat works, but to inject yourself in a story, you're comedians, and you're injecting yourself in a story about child trafficking. It's just, I'm just trying to figure out where all the lanes are and what people are really trying to get
Yeah,
at.
I mean, you can call her out, but then move on. Just move on to something else.
And that's the whole thing, Stormy. And that's what you see is that, well, it's like once they know that they have a piece of meat hanging up that people
Yeah.
are nibbling off of, Chrissy and all of them don't want to give up. It's the same thing Chad's doing, the whole fighting and everything. I'd
Yeah.
really like to see people these comedians getting back to being funny, but
Yeah.
it just seems too easy to fight with each other. And it's just not anything appealing to me, whether they were calling themselves comedians or not, but especially if they're calling themselves comedians and all they're doing is developing shows about how much they hate the other one. Let's see,
Yeah.
Jerry Loss says, the breathalyzer is a good idea, Bobby. They did that back in the day for Jackie on the Howard Stern show. Trying to remember. Okay, that's good. That's not coming to my recollection right now, but I'll have to agree with that. There was a lot of years ago and a lot of shows there, brother. But
Everybody
yeah,
needs to put in the chats from now on and suggest that.
When Bob initially invited Chad back and I was watching regularly, and then he made this proclamation about he was going to not drink anymore. I started putting in there like copy and paste, send Chad a breathalyzer, just hoping that one of them would just see it, or maybe a fan would send it. Somebody just for him to blow into it so we could disprove this
We all
lie
need
from.
to do it. We all need to put that in the chats, and maybe they'll be more likely to see it and acknowledge it.
Well, so now over the weekend they kind of broke him down in yesterday's shows, and he was blaming some girl, because I think that's what typical people, alcoholics or addicts do.
Girl
They
that he
blame.
was in a car accident with.
Yeah, he was saying something about that. I heard some of those things as I was passing too. I had it playing, but yeah, he let's see, agreed, Jared. Let's see, Chad's ad will get really old in about a month or two. Well, apparently I've been listening for a month because my month is up there. Lost. Let's see. Well, I got these out of order here. Let's see, Jerry says that's how Chad deals with rejection. Burns bridges with Compound and Shuley, biting the hand that feeds. I know, and knowing Shuley, being a fan of his for so many years, and seeing the kind of person he is and how he's been with the whack pack and everything, Shuley is a very generous, forgiving person up to a point. And I'm just amazed at his level of forgiveness now. And that's why I like how Shuley's turning the screws on him after DabbleCon.
Yeah.
Just
He's even
saying
going at it in like a playful way. He's not.
You are watching Morning Coffee Pod with BF and Stormee.
Thank you. Yeah, in a playful way. Go ahead.
He's not being bitter like Chad is and going like, he could say all kinds of things and be mean, but he's being more playful about it, even though there's some truth behind it, but he's not, being that awful to him.
And that's one of the things I admire about Shuley is that he's had his issues with dealing with haters and trolls over the years, and I admire the way that he does take the higher ground, and he doesn't let those people rock him and come down to his level. He tries to bring them up to his level, and that's kind of what he's trying to do with Chad. He's not going to let Chad pull him into, I'm going to argue back and forth and give you hot bites and sound clips to play with me arguing and acting like I give a shit. I like what Shuley put out there, like, hey, if you apologize to Bob and if you say you were sorry about DabbleCon, we might let you come on. He was trying to say yesterday, oh, Shuley, he don't want me on his network. And Bob right away is like, Shuley never said he didn't want you on his network. No. But if you're out there constantly shitting on everything he does on DabbleCon and making fun of it, I don't know how he sees that that's a formula to ending up on the Shuli network, that I can be out here saying, oh, I'm not a Kumia cuck or whatever. I don't know what that has to do with getting on the Shuli network or not.
These clips are kind of pointing out those parts that he's saying, and bringing out truth. That's kind of how I clipped him, because Shuli said, apologize, and everything's good,
Yeah. And but that's too much. That's too simple of a concept for somebody that has the mentality like him that thinks he's done nothing wrong.
Yeah, accept
Radio
responsibility.
wars drama.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It is, Jay. All right, so we're gonna continue rolling this clip package here. These are some of Chad's lovely tweets that he shared over the weekend. So let me roll this a little bit. Share the screen. All right. It is 10 of 11 here on the East Coast. You're watching Coffee with Morning Coffee Pod with BF and Stormee. All right. Here's some loveliness from Chad Zumick right here.
Yeah, he's even asking for people to send content to him.
Yeah. All right. So if your screen's small, you're watching this on the phone, I'll read it for you. It says episode 1 of us is up on Patreon right now. Each week we will showcase one of Kumia's 5 ball washing podcasters. And yeah, he has a picture of like Ski Mask and Aaron and Chrissy. Basically everyone, compound that he doesn't get along with. And then the second tweet, the one on the right, says, if you have time, please send me all the Carl, Gino, Chrissy, and Camel Toe, haha, very original, steel toe, timestamps I should review on their terrible shows. I don't go to Reddit, and I don't have time to watch their terrible shows. Thanks so much. God bless. It's time to take down these cucks. So how do you like that? Here he wants
you want to
do
have a show, but you don't want to put time into it. You don't want to invest in your show.
Thank you. That's the same thing I took out of that too. That's very stuttering John vibe. Yeah, do my work for me, basically, and then give it to me, and I'll do it on my Patreon and get paid money for it. It's like, really? Look at let's see what Loss is saying right here.
Yeah, is he gonna pay us if we send him stuff? No.
Hey, very good. Good point. Look at Loss picked up on it right away. Do my show for me. That's what I got out of that too. Send me shit so I can yell and complain and get a little money on it. And once again, might be interesting. I don't see it as funny. And I guess I look for funny out of people. I've seen Radio Wars with Howard Stern. I've seen it done well. And this is just a
little bit of funny, at least a hint, a joke here and there, not just constant screaming in people's ears.
Right, because even when we're ribbing Bob, it'll always be kind of followed up with a haha funny. I get it that we're all kind of still friends kind of thing. Look, Jerry agrees. He says, Law says, yep, do my show for me. Right. So that's basically what we got out of those tweets. So I appreciate you sharing those. That just gives you a little insight. And like I said, I don't really hate the guy. I'm just trying to kind of understand where he's coming from and what is his brand of humor. And it just seems to be anger for lack of humor.
Time from drinking, he could watch the shows and actually produce his own content.
You mean actually go out there and find content like you did and sharing with the people? Like actually putting on a show. All right. Well, let's keep this rolling here. We're going to roll past this. I guess I'll just let it roll unless you have a setup for what's coming next.
No, I think it's more just of the Chad Zumock drama.
Mm-hmm.
That's on every podcast.
Yeah, there you go right there. You can catch Kevin Brennan, our friend, the Reverend Bob Levy, and of course, Chad Zumock, who we're talking about. Typically a weekdays at 4:00, but Kevin has been doing pop-up shows lately. He did that pop-up show. Was it Saturday? It was.
Yeah, his headset, and he's saying people are making fun of him for it. I think he should embrace it. It's part of him now.
Yeah, well, he's talking about it's every show. I guess I need a new laptop. Oh my god! And he had me rolling Saturday with I need my ethereal net cable hooked up. Did you hear him saying ethereal net?
Yeah, the whole time I was thinking, is he doing that on purpose or does he really think that's what it's called? And then he kept saying it. I was like, yep, he really thinks that's what it is.
Well, I think it started out as he was really calling it that. I think someone corrected him, and I'm hoping that he's now calling it an ethereal net as shtick because he was kind of correcting himself after he said it. I think he still falls into saying, I got that ethereal net cable hooked up or whatever,
Rumble,
What was that?
the Rumble Tumble,
Rumble
whatever he was
Tumble.
calling it before. He's had
Yeah.
different name for Rumble every time he was talking about it.
Yeah. Well, and what's funny is that only a couple times. I mean, I don't think he cuts out any more or less than any other podcast that I've seen. Do you?
No, I don't think so. I think
I
people
watch it.
just find ways to pick at him.
Yeah, and I think he's going for it because he complains like almost every show about, I guess I need a new computer. Why I can't see the chats fast enough? Like, what's going on? And he's blaming it on his ethereal net cable and all these things, but
Yeah.
I don't see him having that many problems compared to like even our podcast or
Yeah.
many other podcasts. He doesn't seem to cut out a lot. I can hear him.
Yeah, I can hear him really good. Actually, I heard him better with his headset on than when he had his microphone. But I
Mhm.
think the trouble is just with having somebody to produce for him and pull up the chats and that kind of stuff. It just takes time and learning it.
It does.
He'll get there.
It does. And I remember it was a month or two ago when they first had Chad like hosting and running the shows for them, and he
Yeah.
was still drinking. It was before the
On
new
New
year. He
Year's
got drunk.
Yeah.
Remember that show? And he
Yep.
he left a message up there for like 20 minutes. It was like the same chat. He disappears. They're trying to call him on a phone or any way they can get. And he said, what did he say? I had pizza or something. But our
Yeah.
theory is that he passed out.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
straight up, he was drinking then and he passed
He
out.
wouldn't let Shuli in the show for the longest time. Shuli was waiting, for him to
Yeah.
send him the link and to let him in, and
That's right.
he's gone.
And they thought Shuli could do something for him, but really, if you're not signed up as an admin, Shuli would have just been added as a guest.
Yeah.
So he would have been in the same boat that Kevin and Bob was. So Kevin and Bob were just at Chad's mercy. They couldn't put up chat. They couldn't put up chats. They couldn't take him down. They couldn't end the show. They couldn't do anything. It was literally like an open connection. And it was like 20 minutes. He was gone. He come back and said, "Oh, I ate a pizza." That boy done went and passed out somewhere. Let's see some more comments here. And let's see. Jerry says, I created PEST, PESTS for Q&A, gave to Jimmy 2000 the rowdy disruptive fans, knowing they were outnumbered by Stern fans 10-1. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Milo Center says his lack of computer skills is endearing. Yeah. Kevin, it's endearing. Yeah.
It's part of the show now almost.
It kind of is, and I liked how he'll end the show sometime and he goes, "Okay, well I guess I'm done. I guess it'll save it automatically. I don't know."
Yeah.
Like when I heard that he didn't even know how to end the show, I was like, yeah, it's like all you have to do is like end broadcast, and it kind of saves it. But because he hadn't done it enough, he was kind of insecure, but he didn't really know, and he didn't want to mess up the show. So I think
like
some of
how
those
he
early,
ended one of his last ones. He was like, "I'm going to end with a smile." He smiles great.
yeah, that cheesy ass smile that it's just totally sarcastic with his anger humor. There's
Funny.
acknowledging Jerry right there. Oh, O&A got screwed in the Sirius XM merger, had to leave their beautiful studio compound at XM to move to Sirius. Yeah, that was an interesting time loss. I remember that XM was the bigger company at the time, or perceived. They had the bigger name. They kind of had the bigger market share. It was XM radio and it was Sirius radio. And I remember that competition at the time. And there was clamor, like you said, XM had O&A. And there was some question whether it was going to be Sirius or XM that signed Howard Stern. But ultimately it ended up being Sirius. They were a smaller company at the time, but Howard liked the challenge of that. And he had always went to smaller stations in earlier years of his career. So it was something about that and things they offered him that appealed to him. And then within months of them them hiring Howard Stern for Sirius, the XM merger happened. And Lost, if you remember, there was some type of agreement or lawsuit that I think Howard Stern had subscriber clauses in his contract, plateaus, that his pay would be basically measured, prorated on the amount of subscribers. And so I think the companies left themselves exposed in this merger, and that I think when the companies combined, the subscribers for Howard Stern kicked up. And so Howard was like, hey, here I am. Subscribers are up. You didn't say how my subscribers had to go up. So I think there was a rub for some time, and I think they ultimately had to settle that. So I remember that. It was a very interesting time, and ultimately the lesser company Sirius kind of won the Howard Stern bidding war, becomes Sirius XM, and it's all one now. So yeah, those were some interesting days.
Opie's doing his own podcast now. I've watched a few clips here and there. It's pretty funny.
Did you now? Because I was a Stern fan, I was more that kind. It seemed to be there was the two camps. I always heard
Mhm.
Howard Stern talk about Opie and Anthony, but I didn't always have access to them until they came to Sirius. And by then, I was already pretty much firm in the Stern camp. But Anthony Cumia, I got to say, I'm watching him on Compound. You could tell he's a talented guy, radio guy, and I love his Stuttering John impressions. And he really does some really great impressions. And I'm sure in his heyday when that show was big, I'm sure that
Oh,
was
yeah.
an entertaining show. Let's see. And he agrees. Jerry agrees with loss. Yep. Yeah, talking about the series, talking about the merger and everything. Yeah, those were some interesting days. So yeah, like we were saying, if you want to see any of that Chad Zumock and Kevin Brennan action and some of this drama and all,
Mhm.
you can catch. Where did my share go? There we go. There we go. You can catch MLC usually weekday afternoons around 4:00. I think he's going to try to start doing a regular schedule. He said like Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays at least, right, Stormy?
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday is what he said initially because
Okay.
Wednesday his kid has something or whatever. But I don't know if that'll change. It's all subject to change really based on what he's got going on, I guess. But for now, that's kind of what it is.
What's that say? Opie went on Bubba's show.
Oh,
What's that say? I can't read the whole comment.
went on Bubba's show not too long ago. It was a really great interview.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I heard. What was it? I think who was it? Florentine. I think it was Florentine that was sticking up for Opie when he was on one of the shows recently, talking about how when they were over at Sirius XM, that those he would try to get the comedians good money for being there. Apparently, they had a good budget at the time, and when a
Mhm.
comedian would come in, apparently that was a lot of his doing was to bring these comedians in and to make sure they were paid well. So I don't think it's all as cut and dry as maybe Anthony Cumia makes it seem. Hey, shout out to the 6 people that are watching Morning Coffee Pod. This is your Monday morning start of your week and your start of your podcast week, and we like to share some of our favorite moments from the past week of podcasting with you and just hang
There's
out.
so many, it's hard to condense them into 15 minutes or less in a video, really.
It is, and I've seen what you got so far. I really like it. You've done a great job, and it really is. It's hard because you think about, well, what are we going to talk about? There's so many things out there. You really
Yeah.
have to like pool in your mind and wrangle all these stuff. So kudos to you for like making some sense of this and putting it in a video
Oh,
form.
you're welcome.
And let's keep rolling with this then. Steel Toe was suspended on YouTube. Yeah, so we can set this up a little bit. We talked about this. We were watching like last week, and apparently, what was it? It was a comment about uh vaccines or something like that.
Yeah,
Y-
something to do with that, but I don't know exactly what it was because I didn't watch that episode, so I don't know exactly. I just know what's been posted and what's been said since then. But yeah. And so he moved to Rumble for a week and he's back on YouTube now, but I don't know that he's done many lives.
Yeah, I haven't been keeping up on the lives, and I haven't been seeing them coming up in my notifications regularly as I before
Yeah.
this, I guess. But yeah, that's the alternative now. So Rumble, I've heard people ask what Rumble is. Rumble is essentially it's like a YouTube, but without so much a Big Brother oversight. And what's going on with some of these shows is that if you say a word out of the way politically or about, especially about health issues, about
Yeah.
the vaccines and things like that, you kind of got a target on you. And so they were suspended for a week. They went over to this Rumble where they care less about those things. And I
Yeah.
understand from watching it, they said they had a decent amount of subscribers sign up for it, right, Stormy?
Yeah, that's what they said, and it looked like it whenever I went over there, but I didn't get to watch everything. I was too involved with stuff here at home, but and also like all the other podcasts because they cover so much
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
stuff that doesn't I'm not even interested in, but I try to skim through sometimes. But they them being suspended on YouTube though, I'm surprised it took this long.
Right, because we've talked about this before in that I tend to I like things that make are pleasant subjects, I guess. I don't want to get into all the political and the
Yeah.
divisive talk and I feel this way about this medicine and I feel that way. I mean, to me that's all just spinning your wheels. I mean, you can have those conversations, but that's not what I come for. But yeah, it's like they touch on everything. So after a while, yeah, like you said, you figure Why is it going to take that long? Because it's like if you try to take on every topic and come up with the hot take, it's like it's one thing if that's the way you feel about it, but if you're just talking about every subject to think about what is the craziest thing I can say to get the most attention, to me that doesn't come off as sincere. It just comes off as you fishing and trying. You're looking for heat, and they got what they were looking for, right? They got the heat, but it's not the kind of heat that they really wanted. So they got suspended for a week for something that they chose to share. They went over to Rumble. And speaking of Rumble, a similar situation happened to our friend Chris Abel. Shout out Chris Abel. Chris Abel is a friend of ours, stand-up comedian, and he does a show every Friday called Replayables, where he plays internet videos. And the thing about what I don't understand about his suspension and suspensions like this is that the videos that he shares are publicly available on YouTube, right?
Yep.
But YouTube has this this interesting double standard in that they don't want violence played for the sake of violence or the sake of shock value.
That wasn't violent though. It was just I don't know. Violence to me is like somebody doing something to somebody else. To me, that was just like an event that was shocking that happened, but it wasn't like somebody inflicting harm on somebody else intentionally.
Yeah, so I'll try to describe it for the people that don't know or didn't see it. Chris played a video, and I believe I played this video a couple months ago.
Yeah, I think so.
On the internet show. It shows it looks like what looks to be a basement barbershop surveillance camera. Someone is getting their hair done innocently, like a regular day in the salon. The stylist goes to grab a dryer, and for whatever reason, the collection of fumes and chemicals in that room cause an explosion.
Yep.
And let me see. I'm gonna cue up an explosion. Didn't have that ready. Yeah, so it basically burned up the room. That was wrong. Anyway, there you go. Caused an explosion. And yeah, you can see the people caught on fire. And because Chris chose to show this video on his show, he was suspended for 1 week from YouTube. And that's why he was on Rumble.
It has the same effect as most of the videos that he plays on there. It's just shocking things that happen or funny things that happen that he puts together on his show and presents. It wasn't anything violent, I don't feel like necessarily. I don't know. I guess maybe I need to, I don't know. That term just doesn't seem right.
And that's the whole thing. And YouTube really doesn't even warn you about this until after the fact it happens. So there needs to be some kind of continuity.
The tarantulas was violent. She was inflicting harm on those tarantulas.
Right. To me, that was more graphically disturbing than that explosion, right? Because she was going out of her way to do that on purpose.
Yeah.
But they have this weird double standard that you can go out to YouTube and get these videos, but if you make them part of your live and they don't like the way you present them, they will essentially shut you down and give you a strike for a week. So that's what happens. Now, it would be nice if YouTube said, warning, danger. If you choose to use this video, you might be subject to bop, 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 and bop. But really, it really takes you putting it out there to find out what the response is going to be. And to me, that's an unfair way of regulating and dealing with some of these things. If there are clear parameters and people are breaking them, then I understand a punishment. But when it's a video that's out there available, that's widely available on their service, and you penalize people for it, I just don't know enough about the standard that they're trying to achieve. But to me, if it's out there and you just show it on a live video, I don't see what the harm is.
There shouldn't be, I don't think.
Let's see. Jerry says, oh, wait a minute, let me go back up here. Says, Opie went on Bubba's show, not too long, right? Really great interview. Okay, we got that one. Let's see. Opie paid $300 for comedians. See, that's very generous. And back in those days, Jerry, that's earlier money. Let's see. And then Jerry says, arguing politics, religion, politics, not the way to spend limited time. But I do listen to the radio for that. And that's very good, Jerry. And that's your prerogative. And I understand that. And right. And I'm the same way. I have certain lanes. There might be times where I'm in a mood to listen to something political, or that's what I want to take in at the time. But I don't like the notion of showing up for shows that are maybe comedy. That's not what I'm looking for. And then that's what I get. I think when you try to mix comedy and you make some of these things funny, that's where it gets sticky, and some of these shows might have an issue and get in trouble. Let's see. My Los Central says, almost any podcast could be suspended. All it takes is one persistent troll. Yeah, we
True.
know that, don't we? Chris's
Yeah.
chat numbers for that show were quite high, so maybe more opportunity. Yeah, for trolling. Yeah, so I think what's going to happen if YouTube keeps this up, you're seeing groups like Steel Toe, shows like Steel Toe and Chris going over there, and I think if they're going to keep being more and more oppressive with their procedures, or at least you don't know what they're going to do, if it's you're uncertain, that might make you go to a Rumble. So to me, YouTube's behavior is inviting a larger audience to Rumble, because it's the first thing people say when they're held back. I'll go to Rumble. I'll go to Rumble. So right now, YouTube, if you ask me, is some of Rumble's best advertising, best promotion.
That's true.
Let's see. Those hairdryer elements glow red and they're very dangerous. Yeah, Jerry. And apparently there was enough of that chemical. That was obviously a ventilation issue in that room. It's a terrible thing. And yeah, and Chris wasn't responsible for it. He merely shared a video that's been out for months, used it on a live show, and got a 1-week suspension and a strike for it. So that's 1-week suspension. Vapors are what actually ignite. Doesn't take much. That's right. Yeah. And that's what happened there. You could see it because he just turns it on and then it just goes.
Yeah.
So it's lost. Cut lawns. Work with gas daily. Yeah. That's at fumes. You don't want to mess with that. Maybe Rumble is troll. Very good point, Loss. And like I said, that might add up to what I said, in that YouTube is Rumble's best advertising right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're glad you're still here with us. It is 11:11 here on the East Coast. You're watching Morning Coffee Pod with BF and Stormee. All right, I'm going to keep now, since we talked about this enough, I'm going to roll this steel toe video that you included in this great video package. Here we go. Boom.
Those three ex-wives.
Chad acts like a tough guy from fucking far away. You're coming to New York. I'll see you when you come into New York. Then you can do your fucking talking, okay?
Oh,
then
that's
you do
a man
your
who means
fucking
it
talking.
too. Yeah.
And when a 6-year-old man beats the living shit out of you, then you're gonna realize you should shut your fucking mouth, you fucking pussy.
Oh man.
Bob is the man. Do you know how much of a dick you have to be for Bob to do that?
Absolutely.
I've never seen him this angry.
No, never. And he's still funny when he's angry. Take notes, boys.
Absolutely.
And he's right. So Chad was doing this thing where, like, I'm going to raise, it was so sad. He's like, I'm going to raise enough money to go to New York. Oof.
I'm going to start a GoFundMe to beat an old man.
And then he said, I'm going to beat the shit out of Gino Bisconti. I'm going to go to New York. I'm going to beat the shit out of Gino. Because that's what Chad needs. More legal cases. That's really what Chad Zumach needs, is more arrests on his record.
You ever notice how everybody turns on you in this business? I'm the only one that fucking helped you, that tried to fucking tell you to get your fucking shit together.
By the way, he could be making this speech to Chad or Kevin. It would be interchangeable for both
It's
of
the
them.
same speech.
Yeah, it's the same speech.
And fucking and just work. You're worried about who you open for. How pathetic is that? Who you open for? You bragging who you fucking open for?
So there you go. So that's like Aaron said, we all know Bob enough now to know that. How often you ever see him like that, Stormee?
I've never seen him like that.
That's right. And he was going at it. And see, that's why I'm amazed at Shuley, because Shuley is upset, but he don't let himself go there. And then when you've pushed Bob to this point where he's coming back at Chad like this, I mean, he'll set him straight, but then look what Bob does. But when he gets on the show, he's willing to let it go. He'll say his piece, and he gets on with it,
Yeah, you just don't hold grudges. You just move forward. That's
Mhm.
all you have to do, and that's the same thing Chad could do, but instead he wants to dwell on all of it.
Yeah, and I like over the weekend, was it Friday or Saturday? Somebody was saying, "Oh, Shuley, Levy's like indifferent. He's a fence sitter, and he won't take a side and everything." And Levy was like, "What? Why the fuck do I got to be mad at everybody? What am I mad about? Why do I have to be mad about something because somebody else is mad about something?" And I love that. I love that mentality, because I guess I relate to that too, because I'm the same way. It's like, just because you tell me I have to be upset about someone or something doesn't mean I have to be,
Yeah, and in this world, I mean, it's radio, podcasting, whatever you want to call it, but you have your life outside of this. Hopefully you do. And and do you take all that with you when you're, living that life?
hmm Yes. All right. So let's continue. Yeah. So like I said, he's lucky that Bob is as forgiving as he is with him. Bob still knows
Yeah.
what good radio is, and Bob will have him on the show and have it out with him on MLC.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad that they because remember last week after Chad stirs up all that shit, and then he acted like that Bob, like in the tweet, that I guess
Yeah.
Bob kicked me off of the show, when really he kicked himself off by his own words. And I thought it was cowardly that after he made all that stink, that MLC, they did like a 2:00 version just for him and for that.
Yeah.
And then they did their regular 4:00 show for Levy. And I like what Shuley said in the morning. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, you got like one of the hottest topics and things to talk about going on now. You got a good thing going on with him that Chad caused, and you're not going to do it live on the air. And I
Yeah.
guess they rethought it because by the second show, Chad did show up for that 4:00 show, didn't he?
Right. So that's why I clipped the one with Steel Toe, because it was like a two for one. You got to see Steel Toe, but also they were reviewing that. And that's Bob's reaction to Chad with all of that. And then this next one will be, Chad, I don't even know, Zumockery, whatever they want to call it.
All right. Well, then I'll roll it for you and we'll show the people.
Jerome, what is he going to do? He's going to stand up for you. Chad, people don't even know how to stand up for you because they don't even know what you stand for.
Justice. No, the thing about Bob is he's doing these manipulation. He's like Negan from The Walking Dead saying, I'm the only one that likes you. Everyone so he does shit like that. And he takes shots at me, but he won't take a shot at you. He won't take a shot at Kumia. He won't take a shot at Chrissy. He won't take a shot at Carl, but he always takes shots at me. So I just fired back.
Yeah, but
Fuck
you
him.
started it. You were the one. First of all, you put up a tweet, then you delete it. But Bob said he was just on his phone when it came up. So I guess he screenshotted it or whatever. And
I didn't want to deal with it at the time.
Okay, then why do you put it up?
Because I was pissed. Because
Okay,
he's like,
yeah, but also
he's talking
it's
shit in Rochester. Everyone.
How do you know
emailed
he's
me.
talking shit?
People were DMing me saying Bob's saying this, doing this. I go, all right, well, fuck Bob then. I
He's
thought he was
probably
my friend.
joking. Then why'd you block
wanna see
Ray
the
DeVito?
deal.
He was talking shit in Ohio.
I blocked him a while ago.
No, you reblocked him over
I
the
did?
weekend. Yeah.
I don't remember.
What was it, like a Groupon on blocking? You just get you save money by everybody on your.
When people just come at me, like I just start blocking. I don't give a. It's like I'm shooting you dead. Like I'm killing you when I block you.
Yeah,
That's
but Ray
why.
didn't do anything. Ray sent me a text. He's like, "Why am I blocked by Chad?" He goes, "Are you fighting?" He goes, "Am I fighting with Chad?" I go, "I don't know." I go, "Chad's fighting with Levy."
Sometimes I don't pay attention to who I'm blocking. So Ray, that you might have just been collateral damage. I blocked a lot
you
of
just
people.
start blocking people randomly.
Because if you clog up my timeline, I don't want to scroll through this bullshit to get to something. So I
What do you want? What do you want to get to?
The good stuff.
Earl?
Yeah, so I thought that was bullshit from the start because you know that Bob was not going to spend his time up at Rochester to be bad mouthing Chad about anything.
No, he wasn't. He's done nothing but try to help him.
Right. So why right. So not only is he not respectful of Bob when these things kind of happen, but now he's like going out of his way to characterize Bob doing something that Bob isn't going to do and probably didn't have the time for when
But
he was up in
has
Rochester.
DMs that people are telling him stuff's being said. Whoever is in Rochester
Right.
is DMing him to tell him.
Right. I think that was a bullshit justification to fire back at Bob because Dabblecon ended up being a lot more successful than he ever hoped it would be or claimed it would be. And so that you see that bitterness. Him and Connor Kevin both doubled down and they're like, oh, well, it still sucks and they sucked. And so, right, he still needed a reason to be mad.
Or here's the double standard. He could go to Bob and ask him, "Did you say this?" And Bob's not going to lie to him.
Mhm.
Or just like he said, Ray DeVito, he got blocked. Well, he's like, well, why didn't Ray ask me? Well, you blocked him. How is he going to ask you about you blocking him?
Yeah, he pulled that coward stuff where he went out on that tirade and then he ended up blocking like Bob and Ray and everybody. So it's like you basically put out there in the world what you want and then you block the people who you're going to get an adverse reaction from. I mean, he's just creating his own reality and only taking in the what he wants to hear, all the good stuff. You don't want to hear all the real stuff.
block the people that are sending you those supposed DMs.
There you go. Good point. Right, those supposed DMs, exactly. Because who's taking the time? Well, first of all, Bob, ain't wasting his time saying shit about Chad, so much so that it's enough for somebody there to give a shit to
I
DM
don't
the
think
Chad.
anybody would throw Bob under the bus like that unless it was an obvious troll, and for that reason, he's done this long enough. He should know that's what they are and block them.
And like you said, if he said to Bob, "Did you say it?" Bob would be like, "Yeah, I fucking said that. I fucking said, yeah, I fucking said that." He'll tell him straight up what he said. Let's read some of these. Read some comments we got. Catch up on some. An angry Bob is like a canary in a coal mine. If Bob's getting angry, there's already a big problem. That's right, Lost. I mean, you know enough too, bro. We watch enough shows with him that it took a lot to get him like that. Let's see. Oh, I missed a couple, so let me go up a little bit. Oh no, I didn't.
He didn't even get that way with Gino whenever all that stuff kicked off.
Right, and Gino wasn't allowing him on the show and saying all kind of, similarly disrespectful things about him.
Yeah.
But let's see. I've been in a couple flash fires. I blew the chimney off a garage. Whoa. It was the first time I lost my eyebrows. Wow, you must have some gas trapped in that chimney, bro. That's wild. So that explains why you have a lack of eyebrows, huh? The old blew a chimney off a garage trick. Wow. I'm glad you're okay from that. Let's see. Eyebrows are overrated. It must be what Scott thought. That's why you didn't have no problem shaving them off in that bet with Andrew, our board. Andrew with sports. And the sports head, shout out. I also made my mistakes. Let's see. That's what I think, Jerry. All right, let's see. Honestly, Scott. Let's see. Make this bigger. I think you look good without eyebrows. Guessing there's not many I could say that about. We're gonna have to get an eyebrow check and report because it's been a couple months since he made that bet against was it Tampa and Green Bay. Him and Andrew made a bet that if Green Bay lost, Scott would have to shave his eyebrows, and if Tampa won, Scott was going to do it. Let's see, or vice versa. Let's see. Thanks. Yeah. All right. Lost says, got to get back to work. Fun show. Smoke some weed during your show. Work should be interesting. All right, Lost. Well, we appreciate you joining us. Thanks for hanging out with us, making us part of your Monday morning, bro. We always appreciate you. Your love and your comments. Have a great day with your peoples. All right. Scott says, have a good one, Lost. Yes. Thanks for joining us, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, Ter buddy. He says, that means a lot. Lost is a real good dude like that. I have seen him on he always throws a nice little comment on our shows and stuff, on many of the shows. And I saw him say, oh, I regret that it's like Monday because I could tell it was a hard time for him. So the fact that he took time and rearranged his schedule in any way just to catch us a little bit, we appreciate that. That's really nice.
Oh, yeah.
Lost. Crazy ass good day, sir. Have a crazy ass good day. Not just a good day, but a crazy one. Okay. So we just got done playing the Chad stuff, and we're about for our next point. Do you have a setup for this next one, or should I roll it? Maybe you're frozen. So I will just roll it. Let's see. I'm going to roll this.
Nope. Is my connection okay?
You froze for a little bit,
Okay.
and when I asked you to set it up, but I was going to play this one with Mike Bichetti on.
Oh, yeah.
Was this the one when they were raising the money
just
for him?
Yeah, there's a part of it where they're raising the money for him, and you get more drama woven into the whole shebang.
Yeah, this will be the ultimate now. I don't know what's on this clip, but now anyone that's been around seen Mike Bichetti a little bit. Now, if this video shows Chad giving Mike Bichetti shit, that'll just let you know what kind of person Chad might be. Let's see what
I think I commented on that one, and I said Chad brings out the best, or no, Mike brings out the best and big different during that.
All right, well, let's roll this and see what they say. Keep your name out of my mouth. You got it backwards. Even Bob's picking up on it. Oh, did I? I'm sorry. Did I not screen share that properly?
Oh,
Hang on.
they can't hear.
Could you?
I don't think they can hear it.
Let me rewind.
I
Okay,
could
I
hear
didn't
it for
share
some
it
reason.
properly. Let me go back.
Well, there we go.
Dabrowski, my timeline. I don't want to scroll through this book.
Here we go.
That's edgy
My apologies.
too.
Here we go.
You're real man. Hey, I'm Kevin Dabrowski. I shave my head. I'm edgy. I drink whiskey with Gino at Sullivan's. That's edgy too. Fucking hack.
And
Keep your
also,
fucking mouth shut. Yo, Dabrowski, keep your name out of my fucking mouth.
Both of them too. Your little that
keep your
midget Jim
name-
Stansel
wait,
too.
Wait, you said keep your name out of my mouth.
Dabrowski, keep your name out of my fucking mouth.
Hey, Kevin,
You
we take an
fucking
anger
nothing.
management.
Mike, shut the fuck up. You
Hey, we take an
fucking
anger
nothing,
management. Will
Dabrowski.
Smith.
You fucking nothing. You work nowhere. Your YouTube's a joke. You're embarrassing. He needs Gino because whenever he does, Mike,
Oh my God.
That was my favorite clip all week.
What did you like about that the most? The keep my name out of your mouth thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was so serious.
See, and that's funny, and that's a guy who does anger very well. You know,
Yeah.
he can pull it off. And even Bob's laughing at him. You know, we're always correcting Bob's language and everything. Well, or laughing at the fact that he doesn't correct his own language because, like Shoy says, never. Keep your name out of my mouth. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I'm like trying to do the logistics. That means he would have to not exist, so Kevin wouldn't ever think about him. So
Shut up, Mike.
yeah. Thanks for reminding me of that because that's so funny. He does that a lot during the shows. He's done it to Bob too. He'll do it to Ray. He'll do it to anybody. And even when he asks somebody to speak, he'll go, "Okay, Mike. So what do you think about that?" Shut up, Mike. So yeah, you caught some of that right there. So that was funny. Hey, and shout out Mike Bichetti, comedian. He joined the Armchair Comic Facebook group. We had a flurry of activity of people joining the group this weekend. We really appreciate that. And
Did everybody hear that clip this time?
Did you not hear it?
I did, but I just
Okay,
wanted to
good.
make sure that they could hear it that time.
Yeah, I didn't do the screen share proper the first time, so that's why I rewound. So hopefully everybody saw it the second time. But Mike Bichetti joined our Facebook group where this is broadcast right now. You're watching this live on the Armchair Comic Sports Heads Facebook group page. He was nice enough to join. We had a great flurry of activity over the weekend. We had some people join. Let's see. Let's shout out to Brandon Dominic Dalton, Chris Stefanik, Megan Leone Wendell, Audrina Amy Frederick, and the one and only Frankie McDonald. Frankie McDonald signed up. Chris Baldazano, Zach Zwingli, Evelyn Hunter, Bradley Fisher, David Miller. There's Mr. Mike Bichetti, Brad Pinchota, my good friend Nancy Adams Jones, Missy Chamberlain. We got Paul DiNardo, Tatum Fitzpatrick, Bobby Nick, and it goes down to all the other people that have already been here. So thank you. Thank you for the flurry of activity for the people that have joined the group. We really appreciate you joining us on this podcast journey that we're on. We love doing podcasts. We like watching all these shows that we're talking about, and it's more than we can keep up with sometimes. And it's probably more than you can keep up with sometimes too. So if you join us every Monday, we have these nice little breakdowns that we do. We try to condense in as much as we can.
If you want to send us clips like Chad Zumach's asking, you always can do that.
You can send clips. Yeah, you can find, if you go to the Facebook and go to the Armchair Comic Sports Head group, you can find Stormee there. You can find me there. You can send us messages there. Should be probably a direct message there. So thanks for all
I'm not going to pay you.
You're not. Well, at least you're being straight up about it. Yeah. Let's see. So we have okay. Clip not heard. Okay, but that's before I corrected there, Jerry. So hopefully, thank you. Can't hear the clip. But now we got yes heard. Yes heard. All right. Yeah. Monday morning technical difficulties here.
Facebook, there's a little bit more of a delay than there is on YouTube with lives for some reason. So the comments
Okay.
might seem a little misleading sometimes too.
Mm-hmm. That is possible. That is very possible. All right. Well, I appreciate you making that list of friends. And yes, let's see. We're gonna roll this. Continue rolling this clip package we got. Here we go.
Mike Porchetti has a Wikipedia. You know who does it? Gino and Kevin Dabrowski.
The thing is, right?
Mike, can I finish? Mike Porchetti has a pretty in-depth Wikipedia. Gino don't have one. Kevin Dabrowski don't have one.
I like, and then Mike innocently like puts his
Poor
hand
Mike.
over his mouth. Yeah. Like, oh, what did I do? That's just so funny how Kevin can rattle you like that. I mean, here you're on a show where you're asked to talk and participate, and the minute you speak up, the host basically yells at you for doing it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's an art in itself, right there. The fact that that he knows how to pull that off. Kevin
Right.
is funny like that. Let's see. And let me show you the page that we were talking about. If you have a chance, please go out. If you're on Facebook, we're broadcasting live on the Armchair Comic channel right now. If you go out to Facebook, look up Armchair Comic /Sportshead Podcast Group and go ahead and join, please. It's absolutely free. And we share clips and highlights and things, and we share lots of links. These shows pop off so fast that Stormee and I, you can see the live feed right there, are constantly throwing links in here. I threw out the link this morning right there for you to join Patreon for the Blunder Years. There's Stormee is awesome. Coffee, please. Coffee, please. I love that.
Would you give me more coffee, please? Coffee, please.
So there you see all the kind of stuff like that, all our cool graphics, and shout out our boy Tay Boogie. He was in the first thing this morning. We're gonna hook up with him. As a funny, interesting dude, a good guy I've gotten to know through our mutual friend Chris Abels. And Tay, like a lot of people, have an interesting story once you get to know him, but his is particularly interesting in that my man has had many health issues that he's so nonchalant about them, talking in conversation with me. A couple of times I've had a conversation about, I've went through this, I've went through that. He's had the diabetes, he's talking about having the black man package of the heart disease and the diabetes and stuff, and the high blood pressure, high cholesterol. But he's overcomes a lot of health challenges, and he still likes to go out there and bring the funny. And I admire that about Tay.
Me too.
I'm kind of fascinated by that too. Someone that where does he get his drive from? I mean, just the couple the diabetes and a couple of the heart issues and the things that I know of him, and I hear him say this, but then on the other side, I hear this drive. He's always out there pushing himself, and I know his mobility is limited, but he's always out there pushing himself to bring the funny. And there's something I admire about that. To where here you got guys. You have people like Chad and these guys who have every opportunity to be funny and maybe don't have the challenges that a person like Tay Boogie has. But yet he's out there, even with his challenges, trying to be funnier than he could easily go to anger and be depressed and everything, but he doesn't. So I admire that. So that's just
I do too. He makes the best of what he's got, and that's all you can do.
He really does. And we're gonna have him on future episodes of Morning Coffee Pod, and I'm going to be seeing him at our buddy Chris Abel's wedding in April, so I'm looking forward to that. Lost. Crazy ass good day, sir. Have a crazy ass good day. Were you saying something, Stormee?
I think we've already seen that comment already. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sometimes I go up to the top to make sure I don't miss anybody.
I thought Lost might have been back for a second. I was like, wait.
Yeah, see, we're doing this thing. I'm enjoying our longer format of show, but yeah, we are challenging people to choose us over the BS show. And I know we are missing the BS show while doing it. So we'll have to decide if we want to do this or maybe change our timing or something. But I do like this extended format of talking, because to me, this is more natural. And I really like seeing this and hearing other people's comments. So we'll have to discuss that moving forward, because it seems like it's more fun than we can pack in an hour. More fun. Right. Because Jerry rolled up, which I don't. He says, great show. See you soon. We appreciate that. All right. Well, let's continue with that. Let's continue with our show, and we'll catch up with those guys later. All right. Well, we thank you. Those of you who are here, we thank you for being here. And if you're watching after the fact, this is Morning Coffee Pod with BF and Stormee, where we review all of our favorite podcasts. Then we give you schedules and information and gossip about them. And we get you ready for the podcast week. Okay. Rob Saul. This one says Rob Saul was not on his show again this week.
Right.
So I will roll.
Rob Solis. So we got to talk about sports.
Yeah, we did, and it's of course it's a different vibe when any show when you don't have the actual host, different vibe. So I'll
Right.
give you a little background on this. Is that typically we do Rob Saul show at 8:30 on Tuesday. That's going to be changing. I got a notice. I went all day thinking that we were going to do the show, and then late in the afternoon, I got a message that hey, there's no Rob Saul show tonight. And then things changed, things scrambled, and then it was decided that Chris would host again, and that he and I would go on. And then it turned out Anthony and Doug and others showed up, and we had a good time. So let me roll you this clip that Stormee prepared for us. Shout out to the 4 people that are still with us. Get me caught up on your podcast and just hanging out. Oh, let me do a proper screen share this time. That way you'll be able to see it and hear it. Here we go.
I think on this one I just shared the poster and then it rolls into the swatting.
All right, why don't you set this up, please? Because there's a little backstory to this.
Yeah, so
Swatting.
there was the swatting with Bob Levy that we all, I think, that would be watching this podcast kind of are familiar with. Starting with Eliza Jordana,
Mhm.
and then Steel Toe apparently
Steel
was
Toe.
swatted.
Mhm.
And then was there somebody else? I don't know.
That's what I remember. Right. I remember, I think did it happen to Perry? Well, of course, Perry gets his stuff. Perry Caravella,
Yeah.
he gets his stuff. But then, yeah, somehow through that, was it right? It was, I think the chain is right. It was like through that whole Eliza thing. And then we were watching A Miserable Men one night, and all of a sudden, Bob
Yeah.
Levy is like distracted. And he's turned, what? And everybody's going, oh no, come on, you're doing a bit. And he's like, no, I'm not doing a bit. And the police actually showed up because Bob Levy got swatted during a live show, and they were like,
Chrissy. It was Chrissy. There was one missing.
right,
'cause-
okay, thank you, very good. Yeah, there's so many people getting swatted. It's so unoriginal. You can't even keep up, right? So you got to assume that a lot of them. Yeah, so a few of these shows were all getting like swatted in a line. It was like it fell from one to another to another.
Yep.
And so for those of you who are not familiar, swatting is when someone who has a grudge with you essentially calls up the police in your local area and says, there's a problem going over at this residence, and they could say it in a way that they would make the SWAT team come. You know, they could say it's a personal danger or something, and they don't care because the call's not going to get traced back to them.
Yep.
And ultimately the police show up, and like Shuli says, this is dangerous because different jurisdictions treat this in a different manner. You know, people can get seriously hurt if the police show up to a situation that they deem or been told is very serious, and guns are drawn and there's misunderstandings. So this is a terrible way to have to retaliate against someone. It's something that no one should be doing, but yet this is how petty people get when they can't win an argument, or if they want to get back at somebody, they'll go through this trouble of actually calling the police to their house.
Yep. It's crazy. Funny story real quick. It was like 2:00 in the morning, and you know, there's like these certain buttons you can push on your iPhone that'll make emergency calls to law enforcement. And I wasn't aware that my son had a hold of my phone. It was like 2:00 in the morning. He had woke up and he grabbed a hold of my phone. I used it as an alarm off the stand. I guess he had pushed those buttons. Well, it was like, I don't know, not too long after that, he had fallen back asleep. There was a cop at my door knocking on the door, and I didn't know why. I
Wow.
didn't call. I was like, "Oh, no. Somebody swat me."
Wow, you almost got basically swatted by your child, basically.
By my child.
Right. Yeah, that's always nice when you get the unexpected call or unexpected visit from police, and then you're wondering why, and it turns out to be something in your house and you had no idea.
Yep.
Yeah. So as the title of this particular clip says, the arrest was made. So do you want to elaborate, or do you want the clip to explain itself?
Well, it's not somebody we would have expected it to be, for sure.
Okay, let's roll the clip. And this is April and Aaron talking with Chrissy about the arrest made in all of the swatting that we just described to you.
It's October, yeah. And then I guess I'll spill the beans. The person who did it has got arrested. They got arrested. They got charged. We were being tormented. You, myself, Bob Levy. We were being tormented by a 14-year-old. That is the
God
person
bless the parents, huh?
who was swatting us.
No,
Swatting.
I believe the children are our future.
Yeah. No.
All right. So yeah, I believe the children of future. Get the corny line. So yeah, so it ended up being a teenager, basically, right?
Yeah, yeah, and apparently he's been doing it for quite some time, and he'll even go as far to, like, order pizzas and
Mm-hmm.
have them delivered to their house or,
Yeah, that's a
just
classic.
pesky things like that, which wouldn't have been as big a deal, but then you get
Right.
law enforcement, and how is
Yeah.
this kid getting all these addresses and all this information?
This doxing apparently is terribly easy, and it comes much easier to these young kids, and they have no fear of the repercussions because
Right.
they don't believe that they're going to get caught. But yeah,
He
it's
needs to be
dangerous. Just
he or she, I think it might be a boy, I think I've heard, but either way, he or she needs to be in trouble because if they don't learn their lesson now, it's only gonna get worse.
yeah, and it's yeah, it's a terrible waste of resources, and it's a terrible way to retaliate against someone that you have a problem with, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. Get some banners up. Boom, there we go. Okay. So I see the title of this one, and I'm familiar with this one because I kind of initiated this one.
Yep.
We had such a good time Friday on the Shuli Network. Shout out. My boy Andrew the Sports, and myself and Scott and Stormy. We did episode 2 of the Sports Heads on the Shuli Network. We had 1 week off for DabbleCon because they went up there and did that. I was really happy to be back on the Shuli Network, and we had a good episode 2. It went pretty good. And so that night, on Friday nights, we do sports heads from 7:30. We do about an hour and a half, so about almost 9 o'clock. But at 10 o'clock every Friday night, or when he's not on the road, Bob Levy does Out of the Coffin. And so it's a fun show where if you want to see a master at work, somebody that can just sit behind a mic and just talk and riff for hours and just pull in super chats and pull in fun.
And doesn't care what they say about him, he just goes.
Right. That's a great point. And that's what I like about Bob. And I always overuse the words generous or gracious, but that's what I mean. Because when you see other comedians where they can't take it and they don't realize that they don't want to make you part of the fun. They're like, who are you? You're not a comedian. You can't be part of the joke. Bob is our friend, and Bob is a comedian, and Bob gives it all to us. He lets us be part of the joke, part of his family, part of everything. And he takes it in stride. And he's nowhere near as hateful and about his comebacks as like somebody like Chad is. He's clever and he's more concise about it.
And he doesn't take it to heart and channel it into his everyday life and how he feels.
Right. And turn it into a grudge and turn it into retaliating on Twitter or having to say something.
Bottle.
What's that?
Or not a reason to crack a bottle. Don't let that be
Exactly.
the reason you start drinking.
Right. My goodness. And then Bob's had those edibles on Friday night.
Yeah.
Edible Friday night is funny. He was going, he started spitting some shit. I said, this is some next level Bob Levy shit right here. He started talking about some stuff. Well, if you're that fucked up that you can't have your stuff and be fucked up too, then you're fucked up. And I'm like, why does that make sense to me? Like, what the hell? What did he just basically, so he was like, if you can't have your life, all the nice things in your life and balance it, we'll be able to have a good time and getting fucked up, then you're basically fucked up. And I'm like,
yeah,
that's brilliant. That's fucking brilliant. So that's Bob. So that's just some of the gems he might spit out. Bob is the master.
He's going to have his cake and eat it too.
He sure is. He sure is. He's figured out a way to balance it all as he's gotten older. So I say all hail the master, Bob Levy, based on that, what I just described to you. And so I sent a super chat, and here's what happened.
Holy fucking shit. I was starting to get
Not playing, right? Oh. Hang on, the reshare is going slow. Hang on a second.
It's okay.
Didn't start it right away. Let's try it again. Here we go. There you go. Up on screen.
How you doing, buddy? $2. All hail the master, Bob Levy. That's right.
It's not playing right for some reason. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. For some reason, the clip is not playing right. So let me.
And that means I'm not a master like it was years ago.
Wonder what's going on.
Not sure why it's not playing. Let me reload it real quick.
Okay.
See if that does anything. Boink. Uh-oh.
Sure.
Around. I don't do it. I have other people.
It's there. It's just not loading up.
Because I am not like.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I don't know. It was going fine. Let's see.
I believe the children are our future.
Yeah. No.
All right, see if it rolls now.
Holy fucking shit! I was starting to get a BF Bobby Fran. How you doing, buddy? $2. All hail the master Bob Levy. That's right, and that means I'm not a master like it was years ago. Because I am not like that. I
Had a
love
feeling he was going to
everybody.
go there.
I would love people around. I don't do it. I have other people order people around. You know.
That was funny. Yeah. So, yeah. So I told you that, I'm on these things so much and I can be kind of thrifty that I don't want to super chat myself into debt, but, I
Right.
appreciate him so much. And he was sitting up there doing his thing.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I'm gonna throw my boy some love and just let him know that I appreciate the master. So, but I like that. I like when I just like that little extra when he goes, "How you doing, buddy?" I'm like, I like that the way he personalized that for me. That was very nice.
Only way that I'll super chat is if I have money saved from couponing. That's my extra spending on that stuff.
Yeah, you were mentioning that you had a system about
Because
that.
I know that I could put myself in a bind and I don't want to do that. So I draw a line there.
Well, that's a real slippery slope because you could super chat yourself quietly into some debt when you get that credit card bill. You
Mhm.
see these people like your David Chandlers and your Dave Dafflers and
Yeah.
the different ones that that super chat a lot of money at a time. And a lot of times when I see these chats come up, I start adding them up in my head and thinking,
Yeah.
like, what kind of credit card bill do they get at the end of the month? If they like on just the shows that we watch and some of the super chats they throw around them, they'll throw $50, $100 around. Some of these guys will do it
Right.
multiple times, right?
Yeah. That's crazy. Sometimes I think it might have been this past week. I seen $250 on one of the shows and I was like, whoa.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'm trying
I
to.
don't know which one it was. I'll have to figure it out. But
I've seen
yeah.
$100 ones regular. I want to say that I saw a multiple hundred in one show that surprised me, but it's been very rare. It might have been a 200 or some odd amount early
I
on, but
think
that's
it was on one of the MLCs. It might have been the one with Mike Bichetti where
really,
they
yeah.
were taking donations, but I don't know. It might have been that one, but it was quite a bit. It was over $100. It was close. It was 200 something, but I want to say it was 250.
That was nice of him, and that's something I've always admired about those guys. Even before the days of podcasting, whenever any of these comedian guys get in a bind as far as healthcare
Yeah.
or they have a personal thing, and especially Bob Levy, he did it with Gina, right? The
Yeah.
first thing they do is want to have a charity show. They want to help their people out right away, and they've done that so many times. Had these charity shows in the past before podcasting or anything was advertised. You would hear little rumblings about him on the Stern Show if you listen to their credits. They'd be like, "Well, I'm going to do this fundraiser for this one, and I'm going to do this fundraiser for that one." And so that's just one of the many things I like about these guys is they look out for each other and they're very
Yeah.
generous.
That's
Let's
good.
see. Scott's got a big comment up here. This is a few years ago. Someone that used to work for me seen me at a store and called the police and told them I had a hostage.
Oh,
I
my
was pulled over at gunpoint. Swatting can be dangerous. Wow.
hostage. Oh my gosh.
Did you have? Man, did you go in there walking in public with a girl who was a little too young or something? I mean, what are you doing here?
Was it
That girl
mom?
got to be a hostage. What's that?
Was it mom?
Oh shit! Yeah, right. I think he has this old lady hostage. He's dragging her around the store. Oh my goodness. See, that's funny. Thanks for sharing that story, Scott. So, that's why we're here with sharing stories with each other. That's funny how that brought that story out of you. Appreciate you sharing that. All right. So we talked about this was a fun one over the weekend. So at DabbleCon, El Horrible, who is a guy who he's a character. He dressed up in a wrestling mask, a luchador mask. And he was at DabbleCon. His web page his YouTube page is Bedabbler.
Mhm.
and he is connected with Cardiff Electric, who is the potato for people who are friends of these shows and all. Cardiff Electric, the potato. When they always say potato, that's the guy. So apparently, El Horrible and Cardiff are friends and have a relationship. Cardiff is responsible for making Bedabbler more popular in this universe. And apparently, Bedabbler did something to Cardiff that he wasn't happy about. I don't know if it explains it here. Maybe I can explain it, and this will be the... So basically, Bedabbler, El Horrible, must have had an opportunity to do WATP, who are these podcasts with Carl, to basically talk about their DabbleCon experience. He must have done this without Cardiff.
Mm-hmm. I think it'll explain it in the song that he's about to sing, because I went back and got some more of the beginning where he starts singing about why he
I'm
called him a
glad you did.
backstabber.
I'm glad you did, because I was just watching this unexpectedly. Like, we always say how it's hard to keep up, but when I get a notification, I seen the Bedabbler and Cardiff was up. I said, let me see what these guys are up to. It's got to be something funny and good. And sure enough, it was. And almost from the get, Cardiff was on his case about, you took my gig from me, you know, as if I made you famous, but that's okay, you know, stuff, you know. So Cardiff was upset because he's the popular potato, he's the main spud, and El Horrible got famous off of him, did WATP, and so this is how Cardiff handled it on the show we were talking about the other night. Let me pull this up for you.
In a funny way, not a mean, screaming way.
Yeah, in a funny way. Right, because I was telling you, I said, it seems like there's half truth to this, because he's poking him with a stick, but I believe that he's like kind of legitimately upset, but he's handling it in a humorous way.
Getting his point across.
Here's how he did it. Check this out.
Mr. Cardiff Electric.
Not sure why the clip is having problems playing at the end.
Maybe if you back it up a little.
And the voice of O.J. Sampson.
Maybe.
I've reloaded it a couple times. I'm not sure. I don't have that much open on my computer. Mr. Boom. Close some other stuff just in case. Here we go.
Mr. Cardiff Electric. And the voice in my head, O.J. Sampson.
Bedabbler said Carl called today to come on WATP.
He didn't call.
Even though it's Cardiff's spot, I'll do it anyway. I'm a piece of shit. I don't care about my friends. It's all my career. And getting fucked in the rear end. That's all right.
I have a career.
That's okay.
It's not this. This is kind of more fun. Oh, sorry.
Forget it. I'll save it for my channel.
It's beautiful.
Where people actually watch.
Hey, we have 48 beloved chatters right now. Wait, am I gonna get like a strike?
I like this one.
I hope so.
Trying to get him strikes. Playing music.
I think I would have gotten a strike for the first thing I played anyway if I was gonna get a strike for 30 songs.
I said the F word earlier too. I wish I wouldn't have said that. I apologize.
No, stop it.
Well, no, I just don't want you getting a strike or something.
No, it's fine. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Dabbler is a backstabbing motherfucker.
He got low.
Dabbler will stab you in the back.
He's saying back. Bedabbler's a backstabbing motherfucker, he says. That was funny. Yeah, so he'd make up a song about Bedabbler being a backstabbing motherfucker. Like nobody would have known anything about you at DabbleCon if it wasn't for me. And he just kept poking him with it the whole show. And Bedabbler's like, "Oh, come on, man, I love you. I can't take this. This is terrible." So it was funny. So it'll be interesting if you watch any Bedabbler or Cardiff Electric moving forward. I have a feeling that this might not be the last of this, because Cardiff seemed to be holding a little humorous grudge about him doing WATP without him.
Yeah, I think it's just fun. It's not anything serious that they're real mad about. It's not gonna change anything, I don't think, about what they're doing.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't really change anything, but what I take out of it is that there is a thread of seriousness to it. Like, hey, you like really did this, and I don't appreciate it, and I'm gonna handle it humorously, but I definitely get the impression that Cardiff was upset about this. Maybe not to the point of being mad forever. But,
Right.
okay. So we got here on the next clip we have here, it says replayables on YouTube and Rumble now. It says Men Are Talking and the Sports Heads and
Yep.
at the Shuley Network on YouTube. Mhm.
Yep. I just wanted to give them a mention.
That's this is basically the end of the clip. Yep.
Mhm.
All right. Well, shout out. Cool. All right. There you go. All right. Another great job with that. So that basically we gather those clips all week and everything. So you kind of put it all together on Sunday nights. What is your process for that?
I try to put it together through the week, but then so much happens, it seems like in the last couple days that you have to kind of cram the rest of it in on Sunday. But I just kind of clip them and get them recorded on my stuff, and then from there I kind of try to organize it, and then from after that I have to put all the effects to it.
Yeah.
But it's you have to kind of pick and choose, or else we could take up a lot more time with all the content that there is with what you put in it, because I don't want to make it over 15 minutes. That's where I kind of cut it, because the show we already are running over, but um it could take up the whole entire show for 2-3 hours if you put everything in it.
It really could. It really could. All right. Well, let's do some of these plugs here and let you know where to watch some of this stuff, and we'll put a little bow on today's show today. All right. So, if you have the time, you can go out on YouTube and check out my YouTube page. It's called BF Bobby Fran, the Armchair Comic. It's absolutely free. You can sign up. You can check today's episode and previous episodes of Coffee With and all the other stuff and clips and little comments that we get in there. You can find that all right there. So I'd appreciate BF Bobby Fran on YouTube. All right, let's talk about some of the other stuff. As far as the Rob Soul show, I touched on that earlier. I'm lucky enough to be a co-host on that. Typically Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. But the day is going to be changing. There's been some shifting of the schedules going on personally and within the network. And we're still debating on whether it's going to be Wednesday or Thursday. The latest is that it might be Thursday, but stay tuned. Check out your social media. Check out our page, the Armchair Comic Channel, Sports Head Group on Facebook or social media, and we'll put it out there and let you know when the next regular day for Rob Saul is going to be. But it's looking like it might be Thursday because of some of the changes going on. So might be Mondays with this show, and then Thursdays I'll be doing Rob Saul, and then Friday Sports Heads on the Shuley Network. But
Levyland is changing days too, right?
yeah, and it might have to do with some of the same issues as far as people's schedules and the network schedules. So it might, I don't know. I think they said Wednesday, right? Didn't they say they were going
I
to?
think that's what they said, but I mean, I guess it's subject to change. But
Mhm.
yeah,
We're still debating whether Rob, there's some talk privately whether it's going to be Wednesday or Thursday. Might be leaning towards Thursday. But stay tuned. We'll put those links out there. We'll keep you informed and let you know when that's going to happen.
Yep.
But let's see. The Shuley Network. What's going on today? The Shuley Network right now. We appreciate anybody who's here watching us live. We know you can watch whenever you want. But right now, the BS show is going on over at the Shuley Network. If you haven't had a chance, please go to YouTube while you're there doing the BF Bobby Fran. This is all free. Like, share, and subscribe these pages. You get great content on the Shuley Network. Look at this. You get BS show, Uncle Rico shows. Look at this. Sports Heads. Look at that. Love seeing that on the Shuley Network. So proud of that. We've been getting a lot of positive feedback. A lot of the longtime friends and chatters will shout me out in other chats saying, hey, I really like the sports show you're doing with Andrew. I really appreciate that. There's the Out of the Coffin from Friday night. The Road Stories, that was a new show they did last week with Jim Florentine, and that's great, talking about the stuff they did on the road and in the
that
hotel.
was funny.
That's good, and I like those kind of shows for people like yourself that might not have been a fan earlier on, but it I'm sure it helps you in some way. It really gives you a picture like, wow, these guys have like some kind of like wild
Yeah,
history.
don't
And
ever get in the car with Florentine. I learned that.
Oh my God, yeah. And what about the old upper decker that he
Oh
does?
God, yeah. Ew.
The upper decker. So for those of you who don't know, the upper
He still
decker,
thinks we're funny though.
I'm sure he does. Yeah, that's when let's say somebody uses the bathroom for a number 2, and they used the tank instead of the bull, and then it kind of lingers. So that was one of his many things he was famous for doing on the road. So if you ever catch road stories, you hear stuff like that of them scoring and them dealing with promoters and hotels. It was a lot of fun. So if you have a chance, like, share, subscribe, go over to YouTube, the Shuley Network. It's where you can find the sports heads and all kinds of great entertainment. And it's all absolutely free. Now this morning they did an Uncle Rico / the Blunder years, and that was on Patreon, and there's great content over there too. And I understand there's more DabbleCon content to be released, and I'm sure some of it is going to be exclusive over there. So go to patreon.com / the Shuley Network, sign up for that, and you'll get to see that good content too.
Yeah, I think they're scheduling more in person, live Uncle Rico's too, is what I've heard.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I, as soon as they got together and started doing Miserable Men, it was like, wow, you can't be in a room. You got to come out and tour like this, like do a Miserable Men tour. And that was my dream, to see like each of the Miserable Men like get up and do a segment or do a bit, especially when they had Mark Burns. And hey, shout out Mark Burns. Mark Burns, a great, funny comedian who was with the Miserable Men. He had to step away due to some of his scheduling issues. There's been some talk of having him maybe come back part-time sometime. His laugh was infectious, wasn't it? That laugh of his.
Yeah.
When he would crank up and do that guttural, just laughing laugh. What a great laugh. And he was on Twitter a couple weeks ago, and he's very rare that he's out there posting. He's not like a big social media whore from what I can tell around. And he put something out there, and I was like, hey, Mark, hey, miss you and your laugh on the show, buddy. And he liked it and everything. So it was nice. I figured I'd take the opportunity, since he wasn't on Twitter a lot, to shout him out. But
I do miss seeing him on the show.
it is. It's nice. He's definitely one of the old friends, and a great laugh. And yeah,
Do you think Brent Hatley will ever come back?
I don't know. He was catching so much heat from them trolls, and I think he tried to leave before, and Shuley, in my take, I think kind of talked him out of it, like, no, bud, it really ain't that bad, because I think for a while Brent was upset that he was bringing that heat and that negativity and causing the channel problems. I think that was part of the equation that caused him step away. It might have been some other personal things that I'm not aware of, or him producing these other shows, but I know that was a big factor in it. So I'm not sure if he'll ever come back. Hopefully he'll come back and say hello or something, but it's kind of funny. I really don't even see him a lot out on social media or anything. Do you?
No, I never really followed him though, but I got started late in the game compared to everybody else. But
yeah,
I think that from what I understood, he kind of just ghosted everybody from what I've heard people say.
It's almost like he ghosted life, because for a while there, he couldn't resist coming back at a troll. Like anybody that said any negative, he would say, like, I know that I should resist this, but I can't. And he would love mixing it up with him, but he just maybe just washed his hands of all of it. Maybe it just got to be too much. And I know he was experiencing that too. He had police saying while he was on vacation, he had people calling saying that he left his dogs at home. He was getting basically swatted by animal control. He had that issue going on for a while, and people were any way they could get to him, trying to say that he was a bad dog owner or anything. They were just he's been exposed to a lot of that pettiness. Yes.
Yeah, don't
So
mess with people's personal lives.
absolutely not. All right. Well, it's after 12. We've done a great 2-hour show. It's been nice hanging out with you and all our friends this morning. I appreciate that great condensed package of podcast.
No problem.
And every time it seems like I know the minute that we're done the show, we're already on to gathering the next clips for next week's show. Like as soon as we get off of here, we'll be like, what did they say on BS? And so on. So we have this challenge keeping up as you do. And so if you like these shows, but you're missing some of the gaps and you can't really keep up, join us on Mondays and watch this great highlight package that Stormee puts together every week. And maybe we can talk about it and we can discuss maybe some of the things we missed, some of the things you missed, put it all together and just keep it going and keep having fun with all these podcasts we like. Let's see. Trying to get these comments.
I tuned into a new podcast that it was a guest. He was a guest on Levy Land. Gary Garcia.
Yeah, okay. I saw you post
good.
that.
Yeah, that was a pretty good show.
Yeah, he seemed like a very cool, down to earth guy. I hadn't known of Gary Garcia either until they had him on the show, and they kind of instantly clicked right away too. I felt like a vibe between them. It seemed like really cool.
Yeah, he has a really good dynamic with his producer, the guy, his co-host producer. Um,
Mhm.
it flows really good, and they are really I don't know, seem pretty genuine in the topics they talk about. It's interesting.
Well, that's cool. I saw you share that in
Mhm.
our group page the other day. If you go to Facebook, the Armchair Comic Channel Sportshead group, I think you shared that link the other day. But yeah, there's so many podcasts in here, and you got. I don't know if you're like me, but it's almost like you almost don't want to discover there's another
I
podcast
know.
that I like because there's not enough hours in the day. You
Right.
know,
I probably won't tune into it as much as these other ones, but if I don't have something to do and I'm busy and I want something to listen to and there's nothing else, I'll just go over there for sure.
but we do our best to catch them all. And when they pop off during the week, we'll share some stuff with you at the end of the week. So whether it be the Shuley Network or the Rob Saul Show, Replayables, Anthony Zenhauser doing Men Are Talking on the Shuley Network. You got the POS podcast with our friend Pat Oates. Shout him out. Like him, buddy. I know he did some Super Bowl broadcasting yesterday on his WPLR up in his area. I like tuning in to him sometimes. But it's
Mhm.
like hearing a friend just play some old classic rock.
Mhm.
And so I have to see if I get around to watching Steel Toe or anything today. So what do you have? What's up for the rest of the day today and the rest of the week, Stormy? What are we looking forward to?
I looked at Steel Toe earlier. I didn't see them live. They just had like a premiere episode, like maybe an old one from Rumble or something. I don't know. I don't know if they're not
Yeah.
going live or what, but
Yeah. Aaron
yeah.
definitely seemed like they were going to take a cautious approach to coming back on YouTube or not because he don't want that next strike. And the Rumble thing, it seemed like they were liking Rumble when they first went over there. So you might be able to catch some Steel Toe over at Rumble if not on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, if Chad has all these trolls that are targeting him, they might have trolls too, and maybe that's why they got strikes too. You never know.
Yeah, that's true. Because like Law said earlier in the chats here, all it takes is one persistent person to like mass report you or something, and
Mhm.
it happens. So yeah, we hope not though. But okay, well, I guess we're at the end of our show today. So we want to thank everybody for joining us for episode 7 of Morning Coffee Pod with BF and Stormy. We hope you enjoyed this. We hope you have a great week. We hope this was a great start to your week. In the future, we're looking forward to having more guests on. We had Bobby Nick on in the past. Maybe we'll have Tay Boogie on. Maybe we'll have Scott in, and we'll get some other people's impressions of some of these shows. But until next time, for Stormy Chamberlain, I'm BF Bobby Evans. We're glad you joined us today. Peace and love, and we'll see you next time we see you. We are out. Bye, everybody.